Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sorry.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, sorry. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe.
Jai Radha Ras Bihari Radha Ras Bihari Radhe.
Jaya Radha Ras Bihari Radha Ras Bihari Radhe.
Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra.
Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra.
Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai.
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande,
Jai,
Hari
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 Hari Bol. Jai, thank you.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we can have a small bhajan. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite.
You want to share it?
Yeah, someone can share on screen.
Yeah, I'm on the phone today, so let me try. Take a sound.
Okay. Acha, Ujjwala Mataji, have you logged using our
Oh, right.
Hare Krishna.
okay? I think someone has posted a DD. Who is that? Is that Swati Mataji?
Well, that's me, Prabhuji. You can see it?
I can see the screen. I'm asking about who is DD as a post. I think Swati Mataji.
I didn't understand.
No, Prabhuji, it's not me.
I'm seeing PRDD as co-host. I see Ujjwala Mataji as a co-host, and I also see PRDD. Who is that?
Prabhuji, I think that is me.
Acha Mataji. So have you logged in from our?
Yeah, that I have logged in. Yeah,
Whoa.
Okay. Can you log out, Mataji, and
yeah,
sign in your personal account?
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite.
Jaya Madhava Daite.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite.
Radhe
Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite.
Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahita
Gokula Saruni Mandala Mahite
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite
Amodarati Vardhana Veshe
Damodarati Vardhana Veshe
Harineshkuta Vrindavineshe
Harishkuta Vrindavineshe
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite
Vrishbhanu Namaskashileke
Vrishbhanu Maharaja
Lalita Sati Gunaramita Vishate
Lalita Shaki Guna Ramita Vishake
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite
Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharite
Karunam Kurumahi Karuna Bharite
Sanata Sanatana Varnita Charite
Sanata Sanatana Varnita Charite
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite
Gokula Tarani Mandala Marite
Gokula Taruni Mandala Mahite
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Jayate
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dahite.
So this is a bhajan by Srila Rupa Goswami. O Radha, beloved of Madhava, O you who are worshipped by all the young girls of Gokul, all glories unto you, all glories unto you. You who dress yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodar's love and attachment for you. O Queen of Vrindavan, which is the pleasure grove of Lord Hari. O new moon that has arisen from the ocean of King Vrishbhanu. O friend of Lalita, O you who make Vishaka loyal to you due to your wonderful qualities of friendliness, kindness, and faithfulness to Krishna. O you who are filled with compassion. O you whose divine characteristics are described by the great sages Sanak and Sanatan. O Radha, please be merciful to me. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Hari Bol. Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all the devotees for joining for this very auspicious Radhastami class. I'm sorry that I got delayed. A lot of preparation was there, and I was not able to end the preparation because there's so many things to say and talk about. Obviously, I'm not qualified to speak anything about Srimati Radharani, but we are just sadhakas struggling in the material world and dependent on the mercy of Guru. Uh, especially Srila Prabhupada also. And because of his mercy, his glories, we know something about Srimati Radharani and we would like to share with others also. So this is a very special occasion and Radharani is actually because she is the Shakti of Krishna. So that's why she is fully potent like Krishna. And whenever devotees glorify Radharani, so definitely she will appear there also. So Radharani's appearance is not limited to this material world. She can appear in the heart of devotees also. So this is what we are trying to do. Obviously, it requires a higher stage in order to, in order for Srimati Radharani to manifest herself. But still, when we all together get together and glorify the Lord and want to speak of Srimati Radharani, and because she's compassionate, so definitely she can appear and I think we can realize an experience also. So I hope that we look forward that this session will be, it may please Srila Prabhupada and all the other devotees also. Okay, so let us start with Srimati Radharani. Okay, now before moving ahead, I would like to ask devotees, how many of you have heard the Janmashtami class? I think some devotees had attended live, but after some time, I think they got disconnected because it was getting late also. So, how many of you have heard the entire Janmashtami class? I've uploaded on YouTube channel also. Okay, Aditra is waving his hand. He has heard it completely. Good. Any other devotees? Because the concepts that were presented in the Janmashtami class, they are also going to be helpful in this class. So, Swati Mataji was there for the entire class, Janmashtami class. So I think she is aware. But yeah, I think I would request devotees that they please hear the recordings if they are not able to finish completely the class. So they will, because I mean, we are covering a lot of things that maybe it may not be repeated in the future, or the context might not come. So yeah, it will be nice if devotees, they will hear the recording. Okay, so let's start with Srimati Radharani. Now the first and foremost question is Radharani male or is God male or female? That is the question. Because many people from outside have this question, that they ask this question, especially the ladies, they will have this question that why God cannot be a woman, and the gents will have the question that why God cannot be a man, right? And this is how we are describing God, that he's a person and he is in the form of a man, because he appears to be like that. And so then the question for the woman will be that, okay, why he does not appear, or they will think that it's so biased to say that God is male, why not female? So basically the answer is very simple, and I think all the devotees are quite aware of this also, that ultimately God is both male and female, right? So as male, he is present in the form of Shaktiman, and in the form of female has been the Shakti of the Shaktiman. Okay, so we are not talking here about any biasness towards God being a male, because that concept actually exists in the material world. It does not exist in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there is a dominator and there is a dominated. And there is someone who is the possessor of all the energy and someone who is the energy itself, right? So whoever is the dominating personality here and whoever is the possessor of all the energy, he is generally considered to be as male. I mean, in the material context, we denote that personality as male. And whoever is the energy, the representative of the energetic or the energy, that personality is designated as female. So generally, so that's why in the material world we say that every female, every jiva is ultimately female in nature. Why? Because we are all enjoyed, we are all dominated. As our constitutional position, we are meant to serve Krishna or serve God, and we are meant to please God, and we are meant to be enjoyed by God. That's the constitutional position of each and every living entity in this material world. So in that sense, we are also females. Okay, but in the material context, we have a material body, like, and obviously we all know that after giving up the body, someone may become male, someone may become female, right? So whoever is the dominator is considered to be male, and whoever is dominated is considered to be female. Now the question is that why only the dominator has to be a male? Why the female cannot be a dominator? Well, again, it is again a material concept, but in a loving relationship, someone has to be a dominator, someone has to be dominated. And by material context also, we think that dominated is like being punished, or being dominated is being like a slave. But in reality, the dominated enjoys more than the dominator. That's the reality of pure selfless spiritual love. Okay, so in that sense, it does not matter who is dominator and who is dominated, because the dominated is always enjoying more than the dominator. And so in this regards, Krishna is, he's not experiencing the bliss that Srimati Radharani is experiencing. That's why Krishna has to come in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to experience that bliss. that Srimati Radharani alone is enjoying. In our Janmashtami class, we have covered this point, that it was only because of Srimati Radharani's Madanakya Mahabhav that Krishna decided to leave Vraj and go to Mathura and Dwarka, right? So that was the internal reason. If you have heard, then you will understand this, what I'm saying. So, the Madanakya Mahabhav only belongs to Srimati Radharani. It does not even belong to Krishna. That's why Radharani is experiencing Prema Vaichitya Bhav, which is that even though she is in the union with Krishna, she is with Krishna, even she is very close and near to Krishna, even she is embracing Krishna, but still in that embrace also, she will not be able to feel that Krishna is present, and she will always feel that Krishna is separated. That's why in our Vrindavan temple also we have the Tamal tree. Krishna is standing right beside Srimati Radharani, right? But when Radharani is also looking at the Tamal tree, so that even if in her Prema Vaichitya Bhav, she does not experience Krishna's presence, but just by observing the black form, the black color of Tamal tree, she will be able to remember Krishna and she will think that Krishna is present. So that's the reason Prabhupada actually did not allow to cut the Tamal tree, which is right in front of Srimati Radharani's vision. Okay. So, so God is both male and female. And why I say that he's both, because even the female aspect of the Lord, or the absolute truth, also possess all the characteristics of the God. Because the female aspect is the internal Shakti, is the Ladini Shakti, is the pleasure potency, internal energy of the Supreme Lord. So they are non-different, okay, from each other. Now, we talk about that in detail when we go through all the references from the scriptures. So now we'll discuss about the references which are given in the Vedas, Upanishad, Puranas. Okay, because the most common question is that why Radharani's name is not mentioned in the Shastra, and especially in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so we'll come to that, especially about Srimad Bhagavatam. But before that, let me tell you one thing. There are ample references in the Shastra. Not only reference in the Shastra, but each and every Acharya from every four Vaishnava Sampradaya, not only from four Vaishnava Sampradaya, but even Shankaracharya also. He has also referenced Srimati Radharani's name. Okay, so let us go through these references. So first reference you'll see in the, let's start with the Vedas. Okay, so the first and foremost reference is from Rig Veda, and so it is mentioned in the Rig Veda, which is 1.30.5, and then it is also mentioned in Samved 1600, Atharva Ved 20.45.2. So it is said, Stotram Radhanam Pate Girva Hovira Yasyate. O hero Radhanath, this kind of stotra, which is very much befitting for your glorification and your opulence. Let all these be true and lovable. Okay, so this is a reference in the Vedas. Then in the Chandogya Upanishad 8.13.1, it is mentioned Shamaj Shavalam Prapadye, Shabalash Shamam Prapadye. So I get Shabal, Radha, source of all kinds of vilasas, from Sham, and from Shabal, Radha, I get Sham. Okay, so this is the absolute nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he is simultaneously present in his male and female aspects. Another reference is from the Gopal Tapani Upanishad, and Radharani is actually addressed here in the form of in the name of Gandharva, who is the topmost consort of Sri Krishna. Okay, and in the Mathura Mandal there is Goloka Dham, the 200 form of Shyam Sundar. Govinda is eternally residing. Tasya Deve Tasya Parshva Chandravali Radhika. On his two sides of Chandravali and Radhika, and after saying it has been mentioned that Radhika Nitya Nirguna Yasya Amshe Lakshmi Durgadika Shaktya. Krishna's Adya Shakti, original potency, Radhika, is eternal and nirgun, beyond material qualities. Lakshmi, Durga, etc., and all energies of Lord are planetary portion of Radhika. It is mentioned. Okay, is the voice breaking? Are you all able to hear me, or is some break in the voice?
It's breaking, as I can hear, Prabhuji, it's breaking continuously.
Oh, really? Anyone else?
Others are finding it okay?
Yeah, there is intermittently it is breaking, but still we are able to make out what you're saying. It's not like it's not beyond comprehension, but it is breaking. Yeah.
Okay. Other devotee, any one devotee I would like to get, because Aditya's connection is not
Stable.
yeah.
Okay, I think Roger, you can continue. If you speak, then we'll be able to tell.
Anju Mataji, are you able to hear?
I think it's better now, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I
Prabhuji,
think
I'm to you.
you're able to. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I think this is something that we have to bear. Because what can we do about it? I mean, there's no solution to this. It all depends on the internet connection also. And actually, unfortunately, I have to sit in one corner of the room where even like I have also connected to the booster. But okay, anyway, so yeah, so it is mentioned in the list, it is Radhaya Madhavo Madhavainava Radhika Vibrajante Janeshwa. Radha has become effulgent by Madhava and Madhava has become effulgent by Radha. Residing among the people. Radha and Madhava residing among the people, being effulgent by each other. And the Brihad Gautamiya Tantra also. Sattvam Tattvam Paratvam Cha Tattvatrayam Aham Ikila Tri Tattva Rupini Shapi Radhika Mama Vallabha. If I am eternally blissful, still I am the three tattva swarup, the cause and effect of this creation and beyond both. Similarly, though Radha is Nityananda, an embodiment of bliss, she is also three tattva swarup, the cause and effect of the creation and beyond. Then Narada Pancharatra, it is mentioned, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga, Savitri, Radhika, Para. Radha Para Prokta, Chaturvarga Prasavini, Rasika, Rasikananda, Swayam, Raseshwari, Para. And then the Gautamiya Tantra also it is mentioned, Devi Krishna Mai Prokta. Radhika Pradevita, Sarva Lakshmi Mai Sarva, Kanti Samohini. And also, obviously, this is very popular verse. Yatha Radha Priya Krishna, Tasya Kundam Priya Yatha, Tatha Sarva Gopeshu, Saivaika Vishnur Atyanta Vallabha. Says Radha is dear to Krishna, so her bathing place Radha Kund is also dear to me. She alone is most beloved of all the gopis. Okay. So this is a reference which I have taken from His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj's book. And now there is a question of why Radharani's name is not mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, so one particular reason we know, I think most of the devotees they know this, why she is not mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam is because Sukdev Goswami, if he speaks about Srimati Radharani, he will get into ecstasy. And then obviously his voice will be choked up and he will not be able to speak. And the purpose of reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam will be lost because Sukdev Goswami's main reason to recite the Srimad Bhagavatam for Parikshit Maharaj. I mean, obviously it may be some external reason also, but that purpose will not be served because Parikshit Maharaj is an instrument for the Bhagavatam to reveal itself for the conditioned souls in this material world. So that would have not been served, and that's why Sukdev Goswami, being a parrot of Srimati Radharani, Sukha, right? Because the parrot has seen the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world, and if he had taken, by chance he had taken the name of Radharani, he would have gone into ecstasy. So that's obviously one of the most prominent reason, internal reason. And then obviously we also know that there were a lot of impersonalist yogis, Mayavadis and Karmis and Gyanis in the assembly of the sages at Naimisharanya. That's why he was quite concerned that if we would have spoken about the name of Radha and the gopis, then they would have not been able to appreciate that completely. Okay, so that's another reason why. And then obviously there's a third reason that if a very precious thing, if it is covered by an object, then its glories it becomes very prominent. Why? Because, like, for example, if you have let's take example of Chappan Bhog Prasadam. So if you see that there are a lot of varieties offered to the Lord, but at the same time you also see when the bhoga is offered to the Lord, you cover it with a cloth, right? But because of the smell, you can kind of understand what is being offered, although not distantly so much, but you will get a very intense desire to have the prasadam after it is offered to the Lord, right? So then once it is opened, then you will actually be able to relish the glory of that bhoga, right? But at the same time, because it was covered, so what has happened is you have seen it, but you have not seen it at the same time, right? So Sukdev Goswami, he is like just about to reveal the name of Srimati Radharani, and he did that in an indirect way. So basically, he has kind of covered it, but also he's trying to open the cloth in order for us to taste that prasadam. Okay, but because it was covered, so the intensity of the devotees to know about it more and more will also increase. So that was the purpose, right? So we can actually understand the true value. We can really appreciate the true value of something which is covered, something which is hidden. So these are the three reasons why Sukdev Goswami did not speak about. Yeah, and interestingly, see, it is Sukdev Goswami has only mentioned about Nand Maharaj and Yashoda, but he has not even taken the names of other vrajavasis, not even the name of the Sakhas, not even the name of the gopis, right? We don't find anywhere in the Bhagavatam that Sukdev Goswami spoke the name of a certain gopa or a gopi. So he has kind of covered it entirely, especially the vraj, the vraj pastimes of the Lord. He's kind of disguised that. Okay. So devotees have any comment, any question till now? Okay. So let's continue. Okay, so now we'll go through the verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which will actually prove how Srimati Radharani is the internal potency of the Lord and not different from him completely. Okay, so this is the 4th chapter, 56th verse. Radha Krishna Eka Atma Duhi Deha Dhari Anyonya Vilase Rasa Aswadhana Kari. And Krishna are one and the same. They have assumed two bodies. Thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Prema Bhavityanra Chitendriya Kaya Krishna Shakti Radha Krida Sahaya. Her mind, senses, and body are steeped in love for Krishna. She is Krishna's own energy, and she helps him in his pastimes. This is in the 71st verse of the chapter. Adi Lila. Radha Purna Shakti Krishna Purna Shakti Mana Dui Vastu Vedanai Shastra Pramana. Shri Radha is a full power. Lord Krishna is the possessor of full power. The two are not different, as evidenced by the revealed scriptures. This is 4th chapter, Adi Lila, 96th verse. Mrigamada Taraganda Yaiche Vicheda Agni Jwaleta Yaiche Kabuna Ibeda. They are indeed the same, just as musk and its scent are inseparable, or as fire and its heat are not different. This is 4th chapter, 97th verse, Adi Lila. All this is from Adi Lila. Raiche Sada Eka Iswarupa Lila Rasa Aswadite Dhare Dui Rupa. Thus Radha and Krishna are one, yet they have taken two forms to enjoy the mellows of pastimes. 98 verse. Radhika Krishnera Pranaya Vikara Swarupa Shakti Ladini Nama Yanhara. Radhika is the transformation of Krishna's love. She is his internal energy called Ladini. See, this is very interesting. The reference of Radharani, Samvit, and Sandhini potency is described in the Vishnu Puran. Okay, there is a mention of these three potencies. That's why acharyas, they have actually mentioned that, there is the Swarup Shakti of the Lord, or the internal energy of the Lord, is divided into three parts. One is Sandhini Shakti, one is Samvit Shakti, and one is Ladini Shakti. And we have discussed elaborately about this in our previous classes. So we won't go into the details, but Sandhini potency is the potency which is responsible for the existence of the entire material and spiritual worlds, and the paraphernalia which is required to serve in both the worlds. And it is a manifestation of Lord Balram's potency. He is the representative of Sandhini's potency. Then Samvit potency is the knowledge-giving potency, which is provided by Yog Maya in the spiritual world and Mahamaya in the material world, or you can say Divya Saraswati and Saraswati in this material world. Okay, and then the Ladini potency, or the the Ladini Shakti, the bliss-giving, the pleasure-giving potency, is also there in the material as well as the spiritual world. And the Radharani is the manifestation of spiritual potency, and Durga Devi is the experience, the manifestation of the bliss in the material world. Okay, which is Durga Devi is the shadow of the Chit potency of Srimati Radharani, or of the Chit potency of the internal energy of the Lord. Right. So, so basically, the concept is that you exist in this material world, and then you try to enjoy in the material world using your knowledge. Okay, unless and until you have knowledge, you can actually not experience and enjoy the material world. So this knowledge is also required, and that knowledge causes bliss. Okay, so so you are in the material world or you are in the spiritual world. This knowledge will provide you bliss because you try to exploit that knowledge in the material world, and you serve in the spiritual world, like that. So these are the three potencies. Now, obviously, Srimati Radharani is the representative of the Ladini Shakti of the Lord. But we should always know that all the three potencies are present in Srimati Radharani. They are also present in Yog Maya. They are also present in Balram. Okay, it's just that they are taking in charge of different potencies of the Lord. Okay, but Radharani is the pleasure-giving potency of the Lord. Okay, so any question or comment now? Like Satchidananda, we always refer to Satchidananda, right? So this is connecting to the Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini Shakti of the Lord. Okay, so now comes the frequently asked question. If Radha is not different from Krishna, or I mean, generally people will not understand these things so much. Obviously, the question is that why didn't Srimati Radharani marry Krishna? And the next question is that, okay, why the vrajavasis didn't leave Krishna? They didn't leave Vrindavan or Vraj. Why they did not go to Mathura and Dwarka? Because they were feeling so much intense pain of separation from Krishna, and they were in anxiety throughout their life. So they could have just taken a simple step by moving out of Vrindavan and going to Mathura and Dwarka. So why they did not do it? So this is quite simple. We have also discussed in our previous classes. Obviously, from here it is quite thoroughly understood that Radharani is not different from Krishna, and she is existing simultaneously. She is actually the internal potency of Krishna, and that way she is inside the body of Krishna, because the energy is always in the body, it's inside. So if someone is energetic, then the energy is always with that personality. It is not separate from that personality, and through that energy only there is a possibility of extending loving relationship in the material world, and the activity also happens because of the energy. If there is no energy, then the object becomes formless, or I mean, you can say that it may have a form, but because there is no energy, there is no meaning to having a form, but it does not serve any purpose, right? For example, a dead body. So what is a dead body? It is without energy. It is without the soul. So although the body is present, the gross body is there, but and the form is also there, right? But it is very clear that the body cannot do anything. It is useless. So similarly, even if there is a form, but it is without potency, then it becomes impersonal, because there is nothing to do, right? So even form does not have any meaning without energy. So that's why the Supreme Absolute Truth, because he is the possessor of all contradictory characteristics simultaneously present in him, and that is the definition of God, because he is the one who is full of everything. He cannot lack something. So if we say that God is only a person, he is not impersonal, that means we are finding some lacking in God. That means there is some lacking in God. And he should be impersonal also simultaneously. And someone will say that, well, is he present in the material world? And we'll say that, yeah, he's present, but he's not present. Because he's present in the form of his Purusha avatars, but at the same time, personally, he's not present in the material world. Okay, so that is the omnipotency of the Lord. Everything has to be present should be present in the Lord incomplete. Okay, there should be no lacking. That's why when we consider all aspects of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we get a real knowledge of the absolute truth. Okay, so all these other forms, impersonal or the Brahman form of the Lord, they are all incomplete because it rejects the personality of the Lord. Okay, and why do they deny or reject? Because they reject the energy of the Lord. And that means they reject Srimati Radharani also, because she's a personification of Krishna's energy. Okay, she's the energy of the Lord. That's why. So obviously, Krishna, this marriage concept is actually in the material world. It has nothing to do with the spiritual realm, because actually every jiva in the material world, they are all part and parcel of Krishna. And as I explained earlier, we are all female in the eyes of the Supreme Personality of God, right? So because we are all trying to enjoy, we are all trying to give enjoyment to the Lord, right? So in that sense, we are all female. And so if you talk about, so this is an external designation that we are currently carrying with us in this life. Today we may be in a male body, but tomorrow we may be in the female body, or we become animal also in the next life, right? So every jiva is a soul, is a spirit soul, and that spirit soul is actually meant to be dominated or enjoyed by Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why there is no question of getting married to anyone, because everything is Krishna's energy only. So Radharani is actually, because she is Krishna's energy, that's why this concept of marriage is actually not applicable. It only exists in the material world. Okay, and obviously this is a concept from the apar vichar, which means that this is a concept from the tattva vichar of the Lord, which is basically the concept of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, but from a Leela point of view, also Radharani has got married to Krishna, and there are so many references to that, right? So there is a pastime which happened in Bhandir 1, where Brahmaji personally came and then he performed the marriage ceremony of Radharani and Krishna. Okay, so we have to understand this very clearly. And then obviously there is a division, special division in Goloka, where Krishna is eternally having with Radha and the other gopis in the form of Swakiya Bhav, in a married relationship. Okay, so it exists at the same time, the Parakiya Bhav, which basically means that Radharani was not married to Krishna, she was married to Abhimanyu. That is also existing in another part of Goloka, which is called Vrindavan, and both are existing simultaneously in Goloka. So from the apar vichar or the Leela point of view, also Radharani is married to Krishna, and she is not married to Krishna. Okay, but from Tattva point of view, Radharani is eternally the energy Shakti of the Lord. So obviously there's no question of marriage. They are eternally united together. Okay, so any question on this? Any devotee have any comment? Okay. You all able to hear me clearly?
It's manageable, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah, okay. And now obviously the question is that if vrajavasis did not leave Vrindavan or Vraj. So, the answer is that obviously each and every vrajavasi, they or each and every devotee of Krishna in that particular rasa, they would always prefer to have a relationship in that particular rasa. And whenever there is, so basically it is said that the devotees of Krishna, they are in Mathura Rasa. The entire Vraj is in Madhurya Bhav, especially in relationship with Krishna as Sham Sundar. Okay, and when he leaves for Mathura and Dwarka, then he is covered with Aishwarya Bhav, which means opulence. Okay, so the devotees in Vrindavan, they are very simple. They're simple covered boys and covered girls, Gopas, Gopis, and they can never relate with Krishna in a formal environment. Like for example, if you are connected with your family members, right? So if your family members tomorrow, if they demand from you a very formal type of relationship, you will not be able to continue that relationship like that, right? Because you have always treated the other person like your own family member. So because Vrajavasi's affection and love for Krishna is so great, they always see him as a family member. They have a strong relationship with Krishna in terms of being a family member. That's why they can never think of going to Mathura and Dwarka, because the mood of the Dwarka Vasis and the overall mood of Mathura and Dwarka is that in Aishwarya Bhav, or you can say very formal and with awe and reverence. So if they would have visited like that, then obviously they would not be able to express their feelings completely, all their emotions and feelings. And they would not be comfortable in such kind of atmosphere and environment. So that's why they had preferred to stay in Vraj. Also, at the same time, if you have, I have covered this point in the Janmashtami class also, that apparently the Vrajavasis are more attached to the dham than to Krishna. That's why they live in Vraj. They stay in Vraj. They don't leave the dham, and they don't go and take association of Krishna. Why? Because Krishna in his original form is always in Vrindavan. We will discuss about that later. But Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, these pastimes are more, they are more exciting, they are most sweet compared to the pastimes in Mathura and Dwarka, which is covered with formal and Aishwarya mood. Okay. But in Vrindavan, these pastimes are connected with, everything is sweet about Vrindavan pastimes. That's why the Vrajavasis, they apparently seem to be more attached to the dham than to Krishna. But even their attachment to the dham is only because of Krishna's pastimes connected to those places in the dham. Okay, like for example, Govardhan, Yamuna. Whenever they see Govardhan, they remember Krishna's Madhurya pastimes there. Whenever they see Yamuna, they also remember Krishna's Madhurya pastimes in Yamuna, right? So, and obviously it is also said in the Puranas that things connected to Vishnu, they are more dear to the Lord, right? So dham, because it is not different from the Lord, it is one of the paraphernalia of the Lord. That's why a more affection, more attachment for the dham is more pleasing to the Lord than to have more attachment to him directly. Okay, so that's why we say that, okay, Krishna loves the devotees, and we should always try to approach Krishna in the mood of servant of servant of servant. So the more we approach Krishna through the devotees, the more Krishna is actually pleased. Correct? So similarly, and the same, okay, one more understanding on this is that Yashoda Maiya's pastime. We all know in Damodar Leela that Yashoda Maiya, she was boiling the milk for Krishna's pleasure. And temporarily she left Krishna and she started running in order to somehow save that milk from pouring out. Right? So now why? Because Uttama Bhakti means Anya Vilasita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. So things connected to Krishna Anushilanam, which means Krishna and things connected to Krishna. Okay, so because Yashoda Maiya was ultimately boiling that milk for Krishna's pleasure, that's why she left Krishna and she ran after the milk. Okay, so so it seems that now obviously externally Krishna was displeased with that particular expression of Yashoda Maiya, but internally he was actually pleased because he knew that Yashoda Maiya is preparing milk for me, right? She's boiling milk for me. So that's how we connect the Lord to his parts and parcels, to his paraphernalia more, because it actually gives us connection to the Lord in a more intimate way. Okay, that's why we try to approach the Lord through his Tadyanam Samarchanam, which means things connected to Krishna and Vishnu, like that. Yeah, so that's why Krishna, the Vrajavasis, they never left Vrindavan, because Vrindavan actually reminded them. In fact, I would say that because they were living in Vrindavan, they could actually see Krishna face to face. They were able to uh, perceive the presence of Krishna in Vrindavan. If they had gone to some other place, then obviously they would have not been able to get or they would not be able to perceive Krishna directly or in the most intimate way. Okay. And obviously now there are references of Vrajavasis given, described by Acharyas and in Shastra, that apparently they are going out of Vrindavan, they also go to Mathura and they also go to Dwarka to visit Krishna. Okay, and they also leave Vrindavan to go to Kurukshetra. So we will cover all these points because the Leelas will have the relevant information. Now Srimati Radharani is the topmost of all the gopis, and she is the highest personification of the energy of the Lord. So the Bhagavatam very clearly states this, that Anayaradito Nunam Bhagavan Hari Ishvara Vihaya Govinda Yam Anayadraha. So in the 30th chapter, 28th verse, it is mentioned that Sukadeva Goswami is basically, he's not able to hide anything now because he's he's into ecstasy. So he's trying to, he's like in ecstasy. He just touches the name of Srimati Radharani, and then he feels guilty about it. That okay, oh, what I did, I've just pronounced the name of Srimati Radharani. So better now I reinstate myself. And so only reference or name of Srimati Radharani is spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. And he says that truly the personality of Godhead has been worshipped by her. Therefore, Lord Govinda, being pleased, has brought to her to a lonely spot, leaving us all behind. Right? This is actually the indirect reference to Srimati Radharani's name in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So in the Adi also it is mentioned that say Gopi Gana Madhya Uttama Radhika Rupe Guna Saubhagya Prema Sarva Adhika. Among the gopis, Srimati Radhika is the foremost. She surpasses all in beauty, in good qualities, in good fortune, and above all in love. This is given Adi Leela, 4th chapter, verse number 214. Okay, so now one more concept is there. Just as Krishna is the source of all the avatars. Etecham Shakala Pumsha Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam Indriyari Vyakulam Logam Vridayanti Yuge Yuge. Krishna is the source of all the avatars. The first expansion is Balaram, and then Balaram expanded in the form of Chaturvya, and then we know that how the Purusha avatars also manifest, and then through the Purusha avatars, all the incarnations of the Lord also manifest. And before the Purusha avatars, there is the manifestation of the Narayan Vilas form of the Lord, Vaibhav Vilas form of the Lord in Vaikuntha, right? And so in the same way, Krishna is expanding himself. So the devotees of Krishna also expand themselves in different places in the spiritual world. So Srimati Radharani is expanding herself as the Dwarka Mahishis or the Mathura Mahishis, and then she also expands herself in the form of Lakshmi. Okay, so now what is the reference of this? Where is it mentioned? So this is also mentioned in the Adi Leela, 75th verse, 4th chapter. Krishna Kanta Ganali Kitrivada Prakara Eka Lakshmi Ganapura Mahishi Ganara Vrajan Gana Rupa Ara Kanta Gana Sara Shri Radhika Haitya Kanta Ganera Vistara. So the beloved concerts of Lord Krishna are of three kinds: the goddess of fortune, the queens, and the milkmaids of Vraj, who are foremost of all. Concerts all proceed from Radhika. Okay, next reference is there in the 76th verse of Adi Leela chapter 4. Avatari Krishna Yaiche Kare Avatara Amshini Radha Haite Tina Ganera Vistara. The fountainhead Lord Krishna is the cause of all incarnations. So Sri Radha is the cause of all these concerts. Okay, then it is mentioned in the Padma Puran that Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarva Gopeshu Saivaika Vishnu Atyanta Vallabha. Because Radha is dear to Lord Krishna, for living his Radha is dear to him. She alone is the most beloved of all the gopis. Another quote which is in Adi Purana, Trailokya Prithivim Dhanya Yatra Vrindavanam Puri Tatrapi Gopika Apartha Yatra Radha Vida Mama. Of earth in all three planetary systems, this earth is especially fortunate. For on earth is the town of Vrindavan, and there the gopis are especially glorious, because among them is my Srimati Radharani. This is quoted in the Adi Purana. Yeah, so now, as I explained earlier, uh, because Radharani has Bandhanakya Mahabhav, and this Bandhanakya Mahabhav is not to be seen, not to be experienced by any devotees in any other uh, rasas with Krishna, or even amongst the Sakhis of the Lord. That's why Srimati Radharani is actually the personification of uh, the pleasure potency of the Lord. She is the topmost gopi because of having this Madhanakya Mahabhav. Okay, so we know that beyond Prema, there is a stage of Sneham, Man, Pranaya, Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav. Mahabhav is divided into four parts: Rud Mahabhav, Adi Rud Mahabhav, and then there's Mohanakya Mahabhav, and ultimately Madhanakya Mahabhav. So this Madhanakya Mahabhav is the sole proprietorship of Srimati Radharani alone. Okay, all right. So let's hear what Prabhupada has to say about Srimati Radharani. So, any question or comment till now? Okay. So Prabhupada. So one time Prabhupada said that if Radharani would stop dancing, the entire spiritual world will collapse, and the entire business will be finished. This he actually spoke to Yamuna Mataji, and so this is actually the supreme position of Srimati Radharani, that Radharani never stops dancing, and that's why in Vrindavan also, when Yamuna Mataji asked Prabhupada what are the features of Radharani, how she is supposed to stand, how she is supposed to pose. So then Prabhupada personally actually posed for her, and he showed her how Radharani is actually dancing, the dancing posture of Srimati Radharani. And so this is very important, that Radharani should always be dancing. If she will dance, then everything will collapse. And then obviously Prabhupada also said that there are 25 qualities of Srimati Radharani which are the most prominent, although she has unlimited qualities, but she has 25 qualities which are most prominent. Amongst those qualities, two are the supreme, or two are super excellent, and no one can surpass those qualities: cooking and dancing. Okay, so Prabhupada said that Radharani is such a expert cook that whatever she will cook for Krishna, it will always be like nectar in taste. In fact, it will defeat nectar in taste, and whatever she will prepare, it will never be repeated. So you can just imagine, eternally Radharani is preparing for Krishna in the Nitya Leela and in the Bhoma Leela also. But each and every preparation is not repeated single time. Okay, so she never repeats cooking any particular item. So that's why, no one can excel Radharani in her ability to please Krishna by cooking. And then more than that, Srila Prabhupada said that, but even above her cooking skill is her dancing skill. Therefore, we see that most of the murtis, deities of Srimati Radharani that we have in our ISKCON temple also, they are also in the dancing posture. And obviously some of them are also giving blessings. And then some are in the posture of presenting devotees to Krishna. So, but Srimati Radharani is always dancing. Okay. Yeah. And Prabhupada also said that Radharani is the color of sindoor powder and hinglu powder mixed with milk. So sindoor powder and hinglu powder mixed with milk. This is the complexion of Srimati Radharani. One time, Prabhupada was asked by some of his disciples. They were discussing who is great, Krishna is great or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is great, because the question is that who came first, or who is the origin of that personality, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came from Krishna, or Krishna came from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, because this is a achintya question. There is no answer to this question because they are eternal. They are eternally present. But if we see in the context of Leela, we see that Radha and Krishna combined to appear in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it seems that Krishna is the first one who actually appeared along with Radharani, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested. So anyways, they were having this conversation, and they were asking who is greater, is Krishna great or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu great? And then Prabhupada said, Srimati Radharani is the greatest. So in order to glorify Srimati Radharani, or to make us understand that ultimately even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also is existing because of Srimati Radharani's bhav. So actually Radharani is the greatest. Okay, and then obviously I have shared one thing that according to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our connection to Krishna is because of Radharani. It is not the other way around. It's not that we are connected to Radharani because of Krishna, but because of Radharani we are actually connected to Krishna. That's our connection, and that is the supreme position of Srimati Radharani. Okay, and obviously Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they are called Gaudiyas because they are devotees of Radharani. The devotees of Vishnu are called Vaishnavas. Devotees of Krishna, they are called Krishnas, and the devotees of Radharani are called Gaudiyas. So although the acharyas, they have revealed the meaning of the Hare Krishna mahamantra, but there are different levels of revelation of the meaning of the Hare Krishna mahamantra, and one of the meaning is given as that, like generally we hear that, okay, oh Radha, oh energy of the Lord, please engage me in Krishna service. But it is the other way around. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas think and they pray to Krishna, oh Krishna, please engage me in Radha service. That is actually the goal of all the Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees. Okay, and now obviously without the mercy of Radharani, no one can attain Krishna. That is for sure. In fact, it is also mentioned in Kumar Samhita, Mama Kripana Labhyate. So Krishna, when Lord Shiva is asking to Krishna that which is the best way to worship you, best way to attain you, and then Krishna is explaining to Shiva that without Radha, without the mercy of Radharani, there is no question of attaining me. So again, he is glorifying the position of Srimati Radharani. So now, a very interesting question. What is the age difference between Radha and Shyam? So I would like to hear from devotees. Have you heard something about this? Any idea what is the age of Radha and Krishna?
Radharani is, I think 14 years. No, Krishna is 16 years, some months old, and I think what Radharani is 14 years something.
Okay, so you're saying that Radharani is younger to Krishna.
Yeah, if I have heard it right, or if I remember. No. Yes,
so all are eternal numbers.
Yeah, I mean, there, of course, there is no age for them, but I have heard this thing that.
What is the age difference between Radha and Krishna?
In the spiritual world, there should be no age difference. On the material world, upon their appearance, in various kalpas, the age difference has varied. Sometimes Radharani is elder, sometimes Krishna is elder.
Okay, Achha. So that's a good answer. Okay, so first of all, let me just clarify this, that in the spiritual world also there is age. but that age is based on the context of Leela. Okay, it is not based on the context of time. No time exists in the spiritual world, but still there is sunrise and sunset. Still there is moonrise and moonset. Right? So in the spiritual world, everything is there like the material world, but the cause is not material. It is the cause is spiritual, or the Leela is actually the cause behind all these things which are existing in the spiritual world also. So yes, eternally Krishna is present in his youthful form, and his age is close to 16 years. Kaishore age. That is eternal age of Krishna. Okay, so in the spiritual world. And Rajiv Prabhu mentioned that depending on different kalpas, the age of Radharani is, in some kalpa she is younger, some kalpa she is elder. Okay, so can you tell me which is the, where have you heard Radharani's age to be elder than Krishna? In which particular pastime? Which particular pastime do you remember? Where it is mentioned that Radharani is elder to Krishna.
Was it the Govardhan Leela, Prabhuji?
Govardhan Leela, but where is the mention of age of Radharani? Okay, so I think you have just heard from someone that she was elder, or maybe it's coming from some kind of television serial that she was elder. Some
I
sort
must
of.
have heard it from Katha, Prabhuji.
Some lecture only, some lecture.
Okay, who gave the lecture and what is the context of the lecture?
I think it was one of your lectures only, Prabhuji, that you said there must be Kalpa Bhed or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I don't remember talking about. But anyways, you are okay. You are close. You are close to the answer. I mean, it is possible, but we will go through that. We'll go through that. Any other devotee feels Radharani is elder to Krishna?
Prabhuji, is it that when Radharani was to open her eyes, she was still in the cradle, and that time when Krishna came and she first saw him, so there the reference that is given, maybe is it somewhere there?
So no. That's a pastime where actually it shows that Radharani is younger to Krishna because she was born after Krishna's appearance.
Okay.
Okay. Any other devotees? Okay, I think probably everyone else is unanimously agreeing that Radharani is younger than Krishna. Okay. So see, the exact age of Radharani is given in the Gaur Govind Charan Swarana Paddhati, which is given by Gopal Guru Goswami. And Gopal Guru Goswami is the disciple of Janchandra Goswami, who is the disciple of Akreshwar Pandit. Okay. So it is mentioned that because of having too much fun being being the Vraj Rajkumar, Krishna extended his Leela in Vrindavan half again the number of years he already lived there, which is 10 years, 6 months, 5 days, making his age 15 years, 9 months, 7.5 days. So Sri Nandana eternally sports in Vraj near the end of Kaishore age as Kishore go. Sri Radha's age is in the middle of the Kaishore period. Just as previously Krishna's age was increased by half again, so Radha's age is increased to 14 years, 2 months and 15 days. That makes Krishna about 1 year and 7 months older than Srimati Radharani. So is this clear?
Prabhuji, could you repeat that? I don't know, my network was not good, I think.
Yeah, the sound is not very clear.
Okay. Okay, so let me read once again. Because of having too much fun being the Vraj Kumar, Krishna extended his Leela in Vrindavan half again the number of years he already lived there. 10 years. So basically, see what it means, that Krishna, he left Vrindavan at the age of 10 years, 6 months and 5 days. And he went to Mathura. Okay. But because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his features, his looks, and all the other characteristics of the Lord's body, it actually manifested the same features which a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old youth will have. Okay, because Krishna was ahead in terms of his age. Okay, so even though, like for example, even though he was 1 year old, but he was showing the symptoms of that of a 2-year-old child. Okay, that was a special characteristic of Krishna, that he was half more than his age, always. And that's why, even though, see, this is a reconciliation between different ages which are mentioned in different scriptures. So some will say that, okay, what is the Kaishor age? The Kaishor age actually is 16 years. Okay, but we know that Krishna attained, it is mentioned in the Shastra that he attained the Kaishor age at the age of 10 years, or when he left for Mathura, right? So now, how it is possible that Krishna is described to have a Kaishor age or a youthful form when he left Vrindavan at the age of 10 years? Because the Kaishor age starts at the age of 15, 16 years. But just because of this potency of the Lord, he was actually manifesting the features of a 16-old youth boy. Okay, that's why he was 2 years and 6 months. He had to be 15 years, 9 months. And so similarly, Radharani also, she also manifested the same kind of symptoms that Krishna manifested. And her age became 14 years, 2 months and 15 days. So now, obviously, if you consider the difference, then there is a difference of 1 year, 7 months and 1 year, 7 month gap between Radha and Krishna. So Krishna is elder to Srimati Radharani. Okay, now this is something which is described by one of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But again, as Raji Prabhu was saying, different kalpas, they say different things, and different leelas of the Lord also convey different things. So let's understand. Now, in Krishna Garudesh Deepika, Rup Goswami says Radharani is 15 years older and full of youth, full of the luster of a youth. So here, Goswami is agreeing with Rup Goswami. Now, we also hear in certain pastimes or somewhere else, it is mentioned that Radharani is 15 days younger to Krishna. Just like in the case of Balram. So even, I don't remember if I have discussed this in our Durga Jayati or Masteri class, but even the difference between Balram and Krishna, different Shastra, they mention different things. Like for example, the Padma Puran and the Brahma Vairth Puran, they say that there was 1 year difference between Krishna and Balram. Although acharyas like Srila Vishwanath Thakur, they say that the gap was 8 days only. And then some other acharya, they say that there was almost a 9-month gap or something. So different acharyas, they vary on this, and different shastra also, they mention different things about it. So similarly here also we see that difference between Radharani and Krishna is the age difference is mentioned 1 year, and somewhere it is mentioned 15 days. Okay, and now, so there is one particular pastime which indicate that actually Radharani was elder to Krishna. So anyone knows a particular pastime where it seems that Radharani is definitely elder to Krishna. Okay, so I don't think anyone knows, but this pastime is described in Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj's book. Now, from where he has taken this pastime, I don't know, because he has not provided the reference. But in his recent interview to Parijat Mataji, he was asked this question, that where you have sourced your leelas, all these Radharani pastimes. And Maharaj was mentioning that these are all from different shastras, Rup Goswami, and then the Padma Puran, Brahmavait Puran, and Gopal Chandra Goswami, and so on and so forth. So, and then he also mentioned that there are certain pastimes which I have taken from Bengal and from Orissa, which are quite popular there. So whether there is a Shastric reference for this, I don't know that. But he has given this pastime, and it seems that that Radharani is elder to Krishna, because the pastime is, one time Nand Maharaj, he was carrying baby Krishna, and suddenly it started raining very heavily, and there was a lot of lightning and thunderbolt and downpour of heavy rainfall and all. And in the midst of everything, Nand Maharaj was trying to carry baby Krishna. At the same time, he was also having some other work to do. So he was not able to carry Krishna properly, baby Krishna. And then suddenly, because everything was pitch dark, so then suddenly Srimati Radharani appeared. And because we know that Radharani is like very effulgent, so Nand Maharaj was able to see Radharani, and immediately Nand Maharaj rushed to Radharani, and he gave baby Krishna to Srimati Radharani, just to protect the child and return him back to their house, Yashoda Maiya's or Nand Maharaj's house in Gokul. Okay, so so he gave baby Krishna to Srimati Radharani, and then Radharani carried baby Krishna, and then she started going. And actually, instead of going to Krishna's house, she diverted and she went to some isolated place. And as soon as she kept Krishna down, immediately Krishna manifested his Kaishor form. And then the entire associates of Krishna and the entire surrounding, which is full of jasmine, malika, malti flowers, the trees, the creepers, the flowers, moon, and everything, they all manifested. And then Radha and Krishna, they had some intimate pastimes in their Kaishor Swarup. And then after some time, the entire manifestation disappeared. And then Krishna came back to his original form as baby Krishna. And then with the speed of mind, Srimati Radharani delivered Krishna to Nand Maharaj's house. Okay. So from this pastime, it seems that Radharani was elder to Krishna. But again, there is no Shastric reference. I mean, we are not aware of the Shastric reference. And it is also possible that sometimes Krishna will manifest certain kind of pastimes like this, just to facilitate his, the dynamics of relationship between him and his devotees. So he may manifest these kind of pastimes. Like for example, one can ask this question, that if Krishna is eternally present in his Kaishor form in the spiritual world, then what about Mother Yashoda? Because Mother Yashoda, we see that there is Vatsalya Bhav for baby Krishna in the material world. Because in the material world, it seems that Krishna is growing from birth to a youth, right? But what about in the spiritual world? If Yashoda Maya wants to exchange loving relationship with baby Krishna, then how should we do it? Because Krishna is eternally present in his youthful form. So the Acharyas, they mention that actually Krishna can manifest himself in any age, depending on the desire of his devotees. But that manifestation is temporary. It is not like an eternal form of the Lord. Okay. So for some time, Krishna will become baby Krishna, and then Mother Yashoda will fulfill her desire, whatever desire she has for baby Krishna. So similarly, here also it appears that Krishna probably manifested this pastime for a short period, temporary period of time, and then again he came back to his Kaishor form, and then the pastimes continued as usual. So yeah, so this is one of the pastimes where it seems that Radharani is elder to Krishna. Now, again, one more thing. It's very interesting to know. I don't know if devotees know this, but right from Janmashtami till Radhastami, and even a few days beyond that, all the Sakhis of Srimati Radharani, they all appear. Okay, so we have heard, like, initially we used to celebrate Lalita Sashti, which is 1 day before, 2 days before Srimati Radharani's appearance. And then just recently the GBC has removed that, because in the Radha Krishna Ganudesh Dipika by Goswami, it is mentioned that Lalita was actually 27 days older to Srimati Radharani. So how can she take birth 2 days before Radharani, right? That's the reason why it was removed. But if you see in Vraj, there are devotees in Vraj, the vrajavasis, they still celebrate Lalita Sashti 2 days before Srimati Radharani's appearance. So again, there might be a Kalpabhed, and the age of Lalita also might be differing. This is possible. But yeah, but all the Ashtasakis also, Tunga, Vidya, Rangdevi, Sudevi, Induleka, these all gopis, they appear during this period. And in fact, even Vishaka shares the same birthday with Srimati Radharani on the same day, at the same time. Okay, so we should also try to pray to Vishaka Devi during Radhastami and seek her blessings. Okay, we should try to take her mercy and blessings also, and we should also try to celebrate her birthday. So Vishaka, Srimati Radharani, and then obviously some other Sakhis, they also take birth after Radhastami. So this entire period is a very auspicious period, right from Janmashtami till a few weeks. Okay, so any questions now? So is this okay regarding the age difference? Okay. Okay, so now there's a very beautiful pastime of Radharani personally creating Navadvip dham. So Navadvip dham is so important to all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because Radharani has personally created, she has personally prepared this Navadvip dham with her own hands. Okay. So next time is also mentioned as Anant Samhita. And so Lord Shiva is actually narrating this pastime to Mother Parvati, because she's asking about the significance of this dham. What is the speciality of this dham? And then Lord Shiva is replying to Mother Parvati that Radharani was serving Krishna, but all of a sudden Krishna left her, and then he went and he took the association of Viraj Gopi. So Viraj Gopi is also very dear to Krishna, just like Srimati Radharani. And so when Radharani heard about Krishna's association with Viraj, she became very upset and very angry, and she got to know all these things from her Sakhis. Okay, so when Radharani knew that Krishna is with Viraj, then immediately she prepared to go there. But as soon as she was trying to enter the place where they were having the pastimes, Krishna immediately disappeared from the sight, because he understood and he knew that Radharani is coming now. And then seeing Krishna disappear, Viraj Gopi also, she disappeared and she converted herself in the form of river. Okay, so now this river was extremely beautiful river, and it was very, very long river. So when Radharani reached there, she could not find Krishna anywhere, and she could not see Viraj also. Okay, so then what she did, she thought that let me try to call Krishna again. Let me try to impress Krishna. And then what she did is she started making a garden of flowers, trees, creepers. She collected all the Sakhis, and then all of them, they started creating a garden. And this garden was created in between Ganga and the Yamuna. Okay, and the Ganga and Yamuna, they were acting as a moat to protect this garden. So now, because Ganga and Yamuna were surrounding this particular garden, it appeared to be in the shape of an island. Okay, and then after the creation of this extremely exquisite, beautiful garden, Radharani started playing flute to attract Krishna, and she played such a melodious way, in such a melodious way, that immediately Krishna, he appeared, and then he gave darshan to Radharani, and then Krishna, by seeing the beauty of this garden, he got so impressed that he told Radharani that because you have created this personally, and because this is a newly created garden for me, that's why this place will be called as Nava Vrindavan. Okay, because it's a new Vrindavan. It completely resembles Vrindavan. That's why it is called as New Vrindavan, Nava Vrindavan. And because this garden is surrounded by Ganga and Yamuna, it appears in the form of an island. That's why it will be called as Navadvip, which means a new island. Okay, and then Krishna started glorifying this island, and he started saying that this is the culmination of all the holy places, all the rivers and everything, all the dhams, all the holy places in the entire universe, they all reside in this dham. And whoever will reside in this dham, whoever will desire to reside in this dham, they will certainly attain the mood of a gopi, the mood of a sakhi, in the service to serve Srimati Radharani and Krishna. So this is the glory and significance of Navadvip Dham, extremely powerful and potent place created by Srimati Radharani. So now we'll discuss about the different types of experiences of Srimati Radharani. So we know there are different days of Brahma, and that means in different kalpas, Radharani manifests herself in different ways. So we will try to cover as many appearances of Radharani which are described in the Shastra or by the Goswami. Okay. So now, appearance in Goloka. So now, Radharani can never appear in Goloka because she is eternally manifesting in Goloka. But at this, for the sake of Leela, from the Apar Vichar, we will see how Radharani manifested from Krishna's body. Okay, so there is a place in Goloka which is called as Ras Mandal, and which is near to a mountain called as Satashringa. So this Satashringa mountain is actually Govardhan in this Bhauma Vraj. Okay, and this Ras Mandal in the Goloka is not different from the Ras Mandal in the Bhauma Vrindavan. In that particular place, the Lord was residing, and he was meditating, he was thinking, and he wanted to fulfill his desire. So he got a desire to enjoy. As soon as he got a desire to enjoy, a very extremely beautiful Devi appeared from the left side of his body. Okay, and the Lord was sitting on the Ratna Simhasan, and this Devi appeared from the left side of the body of the Lord. And she was so beautiful, that her effulgence was like millions of suns, shining like millions of suns. And then she was, her hair, her eyes, her nose, everything was like lotus flower, so soft, so delicate, and she was extremely beautiful. She was golden in complexion. So by seeing the beauty of this wonderful Devi, the Lord got actually attracted and desired to enjoy with her. As soon as the Lord desired to enjoy with her, from the right portion of the body, Krishna appeared. Okay, and seeing Krishna trying to enjoy this Devi, the bliss of the Devi increased manifold, and she became very enthused to serve Krishna. Okay, and in that enthusiasm, she started running, and she ran and she collected some flowers from the garden, and immediately she came and offered to Krishna. Okay, so that's the reason why she got the name Radha. So Ra is coming from Ras Mandal, because this pastime took place near Ras Mandal, and Dha is coming from Dhava Mana, which means someone who started running in order to give pleasure to someone. Okay, so that is the origin of the word Radha. That's how she got the name Radha. Okay, so this is the appearance of Srimati Radharani. Now, this is the absolute truth manifested in two different forms. Okay, in the form of Krishna and in the form of Srimati Radharani also at the same time. Okay, now this is also again a manifestation of Krishna's Yogmaya potency, because they both eternally exist. There is no question of someone manifesting. They are always existing. But at the same time, they also manifest. Achintya Bheda Tattva. So it's all possible by Krishna's inconceivable Shakti. Okay, so this was the appearance in Goloka. The Lord appearing in two forms is described in the Narada Pancharatra. Okay, now a very funny and interesting question about cursing of Radha and Sridhama in Goloka. How many of you have heard this question? This is even in the spiritual world. Not to speak of the material world. We are trying to get rid of the curses, because curse is a manifestation of anger, right? A manifestation of revenge. But here we see that in the spiritual world also, the curse is manifested, and devotees are in anxiety, they are crying, and they become angry. All these emotions are also displayed in the spiritual world. So, how many of you have heard this pastime of Krishna, Sridhama cursing Radharani and Radharani cursing Sridhama?
Prabhuji, it's connected to the Jalandhar and Tulsi, is it?
Yeah, because Sridhama came in the form of Shankachud, and Radharani was cursed to live in separation from Krishna for 100 years. Okay. So there is a very interesting deep phenomena in this pastime. And so again, now it's not from Tattva point of view, it is from a Leela point of view. This entire pastime that happened, it was Krishna's own arrangement. Okay. So basically, okay, so what happened? Actually, this is a continuation of the pastime which we spoke about on the creation of Navadvip. Okay. So basically, Radharani was actually serving Krishna in Golok, and she was very happily serving. And because of serving Krishna, she started manifesting Ashta Sattvic Vichar. And she actually became unconscious because of that. She fainted while serving Krishna. So much bliss she was experiencing. And as soon as Radharani fainted, Krishna disappeared from there and immediately went and he started associating with Viraj Gopi. Okay. Now, obviously, why did he go and why did he leave Srimati Radharani and go? Because we say that Radha is the topmost devotee of Krishna. So obviously, this is also purely from a Leela point of view. Because Krishna can never leave Srimati Radharani. In fact, Krishna's goal, each and every desire and his goal is to somehow please and be with Srimati Radharani. So again, this is just to create some kind of flavor in the pastimes. So Krishna went to Viraj, and then he started having pastimes with Viraj. Okay, and he also started glorifying Viraj and all that. So then some of the Sakhis of Srimati Radharani heard this, and immediately they went to Radharani and reported to her. And then Radharani became extremely upset and angry. And then she thought that let me now personally go there, because I would like to see how this Viraj is serving Krishna in such a way that Krishna left me also in order to reciprocate her love. So let me personally go there. And so then what she did, she collected all the gopis. Now it is mentioned that there was 630 million gopis with Srimati Radharani, and they all went in a single chariot. Okay, single chariot sounds funny, but this chariot was 100 yodnas height, and it was like around 10 yodnas in diameter. Okay, and in that chariot, there were thousands of palaces, in fact, lakhs of beds. Then there were trees, gardens, rivers, lakes, birds, animals, everything that you could imagine was all there in the chariot. So such a chariot actually came, and then all these 630 million gopis, they took the chariot, and then they went to the place where Viraj was having pastime with Krishna. So then what happened is that as soon as they reached the presence of where Krishna was having the pastime with Viraj, so Sridhama, who is actually the elder brother of Srimati Radharani. So it's very interesting how brother and sister, they cursed each other. Okay. So Sridhama was actually guarding that entire area. And he saw that Radharani and, with all her gopi friends, they're all coming. So then Sridhama stopped them. And Sridhama actually appeared to be a very beautiful covered boy. And he was also very strong and stout. So Sridhama tried to stop, and he was also present with his Gopa friends. There were hundreds of Gopas along with Sridhama. So he tried to stop all the gopis and Srimati Radharani from entering. But then, as we know, our Sakhis are also extremely powerful. So Lalita and then all others, they started yelling at Sridhama, and they started chastising, and then somehow they forced and they captured Sridhama, and they pushed him aside so that they can all enter. So now, actually, when all this chaos was going on, from inside, Krishna was able to hear that now Radharani is already reached and all the Sakhis are also reached. So now I have to somehow escape. So again, he disappeared. Okay, he disappeared from there. And then Viraj also, seeing that Krishna also disappeared, she also disappeared. And she disappeared and she took the form of a river, long river. It is said that the size of the river was like about 1 million yodnas long and thousands of yodnas wide. So that long river was created. Okay. Now Radharani, when she entered, she saw no one is there. No one is inside. So then she started searching here and there. She's not able to find anyone. And then ultimately she had to go back to her house because she couldn't find anyone. Now, as soon as Radha left from that area, Krishna again appeared because he understood that Radharani has disappeared now. So Krishna appeared, and then he very gravely and very seriously started lamenting for the association of Viraj, and he started calling out the name of Viraj, and he started glorifying Viraj, and he said that I give you benediction that this river will be the best river amongst the entire universe. So now you please kindly appear before me. So then suddenly, all of a sudden, Viraj appeared in a very, very beautiful form, similar to that of Srimati Radharani's complexion, and the beauty which was also similar to Srimati Radharani. So now Krishna got really attracted and fascinated by looking at Viraj, how beautiful she was looking, and she was looking similar to Srimati Radharani. So immediately Krishna ran, and Krishna embraced her. In that embrace, what happened is Viraj begot a child. Okay, and then it is mentioned that after 100 celestial years, Viraj got 7 sons. Okay, so now one time what happened, it was very busy in serving Krishna. She was personally serving Krishna, and she was in ecstasy. And one of the young son, in fact, the youngest son of Viraj, he came to meet her, and he revealed to her
Prabhuji,
that, yeah.
Could you repeat what happened when he embraced it? Got completely cut.
Acha, you got cut or my voice got cut?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, your voice got completely cut. I mean, I didn't understand only anything after that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so when Krishna embraced Viraj, she begot a son. And then after 100 celestial years, she begot 7 sons.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now after some time, when Viraj had all 7 sons, so after that, one day she was serving Krishna in a very ecstatic mood, and she was completely absorbed and involved in that, and she was not able to hear and know anything which was surrounding her. So then one of the youngest son of Viraj, he came rushing towards her, and he started complaining expressing his grief, anxiety to Viraj, that all the other 6 brothers, elder brothers, they are torturing him and they are giving trouble to him. So you please help me. So now Viraj, seeing the youngest son, and so what happened is, because the youngest son was anxious and grief stricken, that's why when Krishna saw his youngest son, he felt compassion for him, and he thought that, okay, now let me disappear from here so that Viraj can take care of the youngest son and she can look after him. So she will he will be pacified. So thinking like that, Krishna disappeared from the scene. And as soon as Krishna disappeared, Viraj's meditation broke and her ecstasy also broke. And somehow she came into external consciousness and she saw that her youngest son is disturbing her. So she got very angry. And so she cursed her youngest son and said that because you have disturbed me, now you will become a salty water in the Goloka. So that was the curse which was given to the youngest son. And then he also cursed all the other 6 sons, saying that because, I mean, you are in anxiety because of your elder brothers, and because of your elder brothers, ultimately my service to Krishna got broke. That's why I curse all the other 6 brothers also to become, to take the form of water and to appear in Goloka. So the 7 oceans that we see in this Goloka, these are actually the sons of Viraj. And so now after giving the curse, all these sons, they lamented and they were also in anxiety. They started crying and they offered their obeisances to Viraj, and immediately they appeared in the form of 7 oceans in this Bhumandal. So we know that there is a saltwater ocean, there is the superalkaline ocean, there is the liquid ocean, there is the butter ocean, right, the ghee, or the yogurt ocean. So all these 7 oceans were the manifestation of the 7 young sons, 7 sons of Viraj. Now, after this, Krishna understood everything, what happened. And so he appeared again, and then he consoled Viraj that don't worry, your sons will, I will manifest in the Goloka, and that time I will give my association, and you will also be able to look after your sons from Goloka. You don't have to go there, but you will be able to see and look after them from Goloka. So Viraj was kind of pacified. So now, when all these conversations were going on, some of the Sakhis were also present there of Srimati Radharani, and they heard everything and immediately informed Srimati Radharani. And so now Radharani got extremely annoyed by Krishna's all these arrangement of the cursing and his association with Viraj and all that. So Radharani decided that I will have to teach Krishna some lesson. So now actually Krishna, when when Krishna and Viraj had begot 7 sons, after that Krishna went to the house of Srimati Radharani, and then after all this happened, he had to Viraj's house, and then later on he again tried to re-enter Srimati Radharani's house. Okay, but this time Radharani and all the gopis, all the Sakhis, they were very strict. They were very angry on Krishna, and they had decided that this, in their language, they said that he is a crooked person, he's a rascal, and he's a cheater, he's a debauchee, number 1. So he should not be allowed. And all the Sakhis were expressing their anger. So when Krishna tried, Krishna along with Sridhama also came, and all these gopis, they started shouting, yelling, and chastising Krishna. So then Krishna definitely understood that I don't have any hope now to enter Srimati Radharani's house, because all these gopis, they are like are chastising me and they are all upset with me. So then Sridhama was hearing all these things and he got very upset. And immediately, because he was Krishna's friend, so he will take his side, right? So then Sridhama started glorifying Krishna in front of all the gopis and Srimati Radharani. He said that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Everyone is worshipping him, and you are chastising him. You don't understand his position. He's the supreme controller. Everything is going because of his mercy. so all these things, Sridhama started glorifying Krishna, and then obviously the gopis became more angry than before, especially Srimati Radharani. And then Radharani got so angry, she said that, oh Sridhama, actually the demons, they always chastise the demigods, and they always side with the demons. Okay, so because Krishna has acted like a demon, because he's not trustworthy at all, and because you have taken side of a demon, and because you have chastised the demigods, so you become a demon now. I curse you that you will become a demon, because you acted like a demon, and you will go in Goloka. So then Sridhama got very angry, and then he wanted to take revenge. So then immediately Sridhama said, Radharani, what do you think of yourself? You think some kind of goddess? You are some kind of goddess? I will curse you that you will be separated from Krishna from 100 years, and you will also appear in Goloka. And after finishing 100 years, you will come back and unite with Krishna. Okay, so both of them counter cursed each other. Okay, and then suddenly after this pastime, after this cursing, Sridhama became very grave, and he started to lament, and he started crying. And then Krishna appeared to him, and he said, why are you crying? And then Sridhama explained everything to him. And then Krishna said, don't worry. It was my arrangement. You will go to the material world. You will take birth as a demon called as Shankachud. And then after 500 yugas, you will come as a demon in the form of Shankachud. And then Mahadev himself will kill you by his Trishul. And then you will return to Goloka. Okay. And then after pacifying Sridhama, Krishna went to Srimati Radharani. And then Radharani was also disappointed, and she was also in anxiety because of the entire episode. So then Krishna pacified her also, and he told her that don't worry, very soon we'll be manifesting our pastimes in Bhoma Vraj. That time you will come and you will feel the separation for 100 years. Okay, but we'll reunite again. So this is the pastime that happened in Goloka. Both each other, and the result of that was they manifested in the form of Radharani and Shankachuda. Okay, yeah. So this is one of the pastime which is mentioned in the Garg Samhita. Yeah. So any comment or question? If you don't ask a question, I will curse you. And if you don't answer, then also I will curse.
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Good.
So don't curse me now.
Nirvika will receive my blessings now. All other devotees, they will receive my curse.
No. Everyone should be blessed. You said that in like, how did these children of Viraja, they just like appeared like that way? Like, I had heard in the spiritual world that there are no like children or anything of that sort.
Well, actually, see, again, this is a concept from Leela point of view. And in Leela point of view, there are children and there are gopis because they are in Parakiya Bhav with Krishna. So the more the obstacle in their meeting with Krishna, the more it gets more excited. The pastime get excited. And the more the intensity of the love of the gopis also increase to meet Krishna. Okay. So everything is possible in the spiritual world. But of course, we know that there is no material cause in all these things. Everything is happening on a transcendental platform. And in fact, you must be aware of this, that although it is said that there are no demons in Goloka, but actually demons do appear in between. And Krishna, instead of killing the demons, what he will do? He will chastise them. And then they will become devotees of Krishna. I mean, like for example, Kesi demon. So it is mentioned that he appeared as a demon, but then Krishna punished Keshi, and then he was having a wonderful horse ride. And Kesi was also enjoying that. Okay. And so similarly, there is Kalya also in the spiritual world, and Kalya is manifested for a brief period of time. But what the purpose of Kalya is what? Purpose of Kalya is to give pleasure to Krishna by having his Rasa Leela dance on his hoods. So Krishna performs his Rasa Leela. So although he chastises Kalya, but after that he starts performing his Rasa Leela pastimes. And then Kalya will also cooperate and enjoy, serving Krishna. So, and then there is a mention of Kamsa also getting killed. I mean, Krishna leaving Vrindavan, going to Mathura, and then somehow killing Kamsa. Although actually it does not kill Kamsa, it's a kind of a conception. Okay, he does not kill Kamsa, but he returned back. He will return back, and then again he will resume his pastimes in Vrindavan. So in the material world, Krishna is separated for a long time, but in the spiritual world, Kans will be there. Krishna will go there. He will kill him, and then return on the same day or the next day. And then everyone will forget that Krishna had gone to kill Kamsa. Okay, so these pastimes are arranged by Yoga's potency temporarily. Okay, so everything is possible in the spiritual world.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you were mentioning about the 6 sons. They got cursed, and 6 sons. They were cursed to become the 7 oceans, and the younger son. Okay,
The
younger
seventh one
son
also.
also. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, Prabhuji.
All right. So now another interesting pastime from Rupa Goswami's Lalit Madhav. This is also something I think devotees must have heard from some senior devotees classes and all that. But it's so interesting that how all these pastimes are unwinding themselves, right? I mean, we can imagine all these things, but when we hear it seems inconceivable. But it is very interesting to know that how the pastimes are so deeply connected with the previous lives of devotees or saintly people, and how they are intermingled perfectly. So this is a typical case. So how many of you heard about this pastime of that Radharani was born to Vindhyachal mountain? Anyone has heard how? So okay, we know that Radharani is eternally the daughter of Kirtida and Vrishbhanu. But in one particular pastime, she was actually born as the daughter of Vindhyachal mountain. Okay. So basically what happens is, seeing the unique position of Himalaya mountain, because Lord Shiva is the son-in-law of Himalayas, Vindhya became envious. So Vindhya mountain became envious of Himalaya, and he had a desire, intense desire to give birth to a daughter who's or to basically connect himself with the son-in-law who will be able to defeat Mahadev also. So he got envious of Himalaya and he got intense desire. So because of this desire, he started performing a lot of severe austerities. And then, pleased by the austerities of Vindhya, Brahma appeared. As soon as Brahma appeared, he could understand what Vindhya wanted. And so Brahma, when Vindhya expressed his desire to Brahma, then Brahma said, okay, tathastu, let it be so. So you will definitely, now, so he said that you will beget a daughter whose husband will be, whose husband will surpass Lord Mahadev in battle. Okay. And so Brahma, after giving the benediction, he got very anxious. He got bewildered. Why? Because he started thinking that what I did, who is that personality who can even defeat Mahadev? I don't think there is any person who can actually do that. And then suddenly he recollected that very soon Kali Yuga is going to come. And then immediately he knew that Krishna is going to manifest himself. So then he understood that, okay, now I think my benediction will be fulfilled because Krishna is going to appear and he's the only one who can defeat Mahadev in battle. So thinking that, in order to make sure that whatever he benedicted to Vindhya mountain should come true, he started performing tapasya and austerities of Srimati Radharani, because he knew that Radharani is also going to come and she is the eternal daughter of Vrishbhanu Maharaja. So obviously, because Radha and Krishna are connected to each other, Radha is Krishna's eternal consort. He knew that. That's why he tried to appease Srimati Radharani. And then Radharani manifested. She gave her darshan to Brahma. And then Brahma humbly submitted to her that, I have given this benediction, but I don't know how it will become fruitful. So then Radharani said, don't worry, I will make the arrangement. So she left. And then what happened is, Vindhya, now obviously we know that Radharani is the eternal daughter of Vrishbhanu and Kirtida. So then at the same time, Radharani, this time she had to take birth in the womb of the wife of Vindhya mountain. So how it will be possible? So by the wonderful arrangement of Srimati Radharani, Yogmaya arranged in such a way that Radharani was, although she was present in the womb of Kirtida, she was transferred to the womb of the wife of Vindhya. Just like Krishna was transferred, Balram was transferred from one womb to another womb, Radharani was also transferred from the womb of Kirtida to the womb of wife of Vindhya. Okay, so this is how Radharani's appearance from the wife of Vindhya happened. And so during the same interval, in the midst of all this, we know how Krishna was carried away from Mathura to Gokul. And then we also know that Vasudev, he had brought Yogmaya with her to Mathura, or Yogmaya outside of Vrindavan, you can say Mahamaya. So Mahamaya was brought outside and she was in Mathura. So as soon as Maya Devi appeared, Kans understood that, and then he immediately ran and he came. And then we all know that Kans tried to kill Mahamaya, right? So then obviously she slipped away from the hands of Kans, and then she manifested her 8-arm form. And then she started speaking to Kansa. So then she said that, oh fool Kansa, you are trying to kill me, but the son or the child that was supposed to kill you has already taken birth somewhere else. And not only that, but 8 Mahashaktis will be appearing tomorrow. Okay. 8 Mahashaktis will appear tomorrow. And out of those 8, 2 are the most prominent. And whichever person will marry those 2 Mahashaktis, they will be able to defeat even Mahadev in battle. So hearing this, Kansa got really excited. He got a lot of hopes. Okay, so what he did, as we know that Kansa arranged for Putna to kill all the the baby boys, whoever had taken birth in Vraj and surrounding areas. Kansa asked Putna to kill all of them. And at the same time, Kansa asked Putna to kidnap all the the girl babies, to be kidnapped from whichever places they have taken birth. So he asked Putna to kidnap them all and bring to him. So now see, this is a very interesting thing. As we are discussing about the 8 difference between Radharani and Krishna. Now see, one can clearly understand this, that here in this particular pastime, it seems that Radharani took birth the next day when Krishna appeared, right? Or the day after that, maybe a gap of 1 or 2 days. Because we know that Krishna appeared Krishna was brought to Gokul, and then Mahamaya came to Mathura, and Mahamaya says to Kansa that next day all these 8 Mahashaktis will appear, right? So then obviously there's a difference of 1 or 2 days, depending on the appearance of Krishna. Okay. So yeah, different Shastra, different Acharyas, they say different things about the 8 difference. So it is also possible that there may be a difference of 1 day. Okay, so now So what happened? So Vindhya mountain, along with his wife, they were performing sacrifice, and they were also giving charity to the Brahmanas. They were performing some kind of yajna also, because Radharani had just taken birth. Okay, so Radharani and Chandravali both had taken birth, the house of Vindhya mountain, and they were performing this yajna, and suddenly, all of a sudden, they saw that this gigantic demon, Putna, she is in the sky, and then she's just she's coming down, and then she took away the two babies, and then she started flying again in the sky. So she started she kidnapped them, and then she again started moving in the direction of Kan's palace. Now, when Vindhya and Vindhya's wife saw that Putna is taking her two daughters, so then immediately she asked all the Brahmanas to chant some mantras. Okay, and so they wanted that Putna should be killed by those mantras. So the Brahmanas started chanting mantras, and what happened, because of the mantras potency, gradually Putna became weaker and weaker in strength. Okay, so what happened? She was not able to lift the weight of the child, both the child together. So one child she dropped. Okay, and that child went down, and she flowed into a river, and that river flowed down till the state of Vidarbha, which is in Maharashtra. Okay, so now, after this, Putna was carrying another child, and after some time, because of the gradual chanting of the mantras, she had to also she also fell down from the hand of Putna. Okay, and Putna could no longer sustain the weight of that child also. So then, when Putna was in the border of Vraj, the presence of Vraj, that time this child had fallen down, and that's how Srimati Radharani actually appeared. Again, now what happened? Purnamasi saw that. Purnamasi saw that a child has fallen down and she's here. So she picked her up and she brought her to Vrishbhanu Maharaja and Kirtita Devi. Okay, because this is what Narad Muni informed to Purnamasi, that this is how the child has appeared. So you go and you deliver the child to Vrishbhanu and Kirtita Maya. So this is how Radharani manifested in the house of Vrishbhanu and Kirtita. And then the first girl, which was dropped by Putna, was Chandravali. And Chandravali, somehow, because she entered the state of Vidarbha, the city of Vidarbha, so that time Bhishmak was actually the ruler of Vidarbha. And so he took that daughter, and so Chandravali was there. She was there for like 5 years. Up to 5 years, Chandravali was there in Vidarbha. But later on, Jamvan was informed to get the child from Vidarbha to the house of Chandravali's parents in Vrindavan. So that's how Chandravali also came to Vrindavan after 5 years. Okay, so this is how Srimati Radharani and Chandravali, they both appeared. So this first time was actually narrated by Purnamasi to Gargi. Gargi is the daughter of Garg Muni, and only Yashoda and Rohini knew about the truth of this pastime. So this is one of the ways how Radharani and Chandravali appear. And you will see how this is also connected to another pastime, which we'll discuss. Because Radharani and all the gopis, Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, Chandravali, and her friends, and all other 1600 gopis, they all disappeared. Okay, and how they reappeared in Dwarka. So this is connected to all these things. Yeah, but this is one of the pastimes that happened. Any devotee have any comment or question?
Prabhuji, so both the daughters were born to the wife of Vindhya?
Yeah.
Okay. From Kirtida to Vindhya. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So it was basically from Kirtida only, and Chandravali was born to Chandrabhanu Maharaj. His wife, I don't remember the name, but yeah. So originally they were born to the respective parents, because they're eternally their children. But because of the transference of, from one womb to another womb, they took birth as the daughter of Vindhya mountain, and then later they again reappeared in Braj like that. Okay. Okay. So now there is another pastime. How Vrishbhanu Maharaj, Srimati Radharani. And this is also a very interesting pastime, because it's a pastime where there is a reference of the Hare Krishna mahamantra, that how Vrishbhanu Maharaj received Hare Krishna mahamantra in that particular pastime. So what happens is, one time Bhanu is sun. Okay, sun is actually in Sanskrit is called as Bhanu. So sun god had a very intense desire to get Radharani in the form of his daughter. And so he performed a lot of tapasya, and he tried to please Lord Vishnu. And then Lord Vishnu became pleased with the tapasya, and then he offered him the benediction that in the preceding subsequent kalpa, or in the preceding yuga, you will attain, you will fulfill your desires. So then Surya Dev, Bhanu, he actually appeared in the form of Vrishbhanu Maharaj. Okay. And then we know that Vrishbhanu Maharaj got married to Kirtida Maya. And for a long time, they were not having any children. So they were doing a lot of tapasya, austerities, they were following vratas, observing a lot of vows and everything. But still, they were not able to beget any children. So then one time, Kirtida, she mentioned to Vrishbhanu Maharaj that this is something that we have not done till now, and we should do it. And we should observe the vrat of Katyayani. Okay. So if we worship Goddess Katyayani, then probably we'll be able to fulfill our desires. So then Vrishbhanu immediately agreed, and then again he started performing a lot of tapasya. He was living without food for long number of months and years. And then finally, during his meditation, he heard a voice, and that voice mentioned that actually, Vrishbhanu Maharaj, you should receive the holy name, because without the holy name, nothing will come to be fruitful. So you should receive the holy name, and you should also chant the holy name. So he heard it, and then immediately he desired to receive the holy name from someone. So he approached Kratu Muni. Okay, he went to his ashram. Now, Vrishbhanu Maharaj was doing this tapasya on the bank of Govardhan near Yamuna. Okay, and then Kratu Muni's ashram was also somewhere near that. So he went to his ashram, and then he begged for receiving the holy name. So then Kratu Muni, he bestowed this mantra to Vrishbhanu Maharaj, and this mantra is none other than Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this mantra he bestowed to Vrishbhanu Maharaj, and he told him that you don't have to chant the names of any other demigods, nor you have to chant the mantras of any other demigods. In fact, everything will become pure, and it will have effect only when you first chant the holy name of Lord Hari. So you chant this holy name, and your desires will be fulfilled. So then Vrishbhanu Maharaj started chanting the holy name with a lot of sincerity, attentiveness, without offenses. And then after some time, immediately Mother Katyayani appeared, Goddess Katyayani, and she was very pleased with the tap and with the chanting of Vrishbhanu Maharaj. So she immediately presented, obviously knowing the desire of Vrishbhanu Maharaj, she presented to him a golden oval box. And it was golden because Radharani was inside the box. And she was emanating rays of effulgence from that. And because of her golden complexion, the entire box became golden. So this is how actually Vrishbhanu Maharaj received Srimati Radharani from Katyayani Devi. So this is another pastime, how Radharani appeared to Vrishbhanu Maharaj. There is another pastime when when Vrishbhanu Maharaj was doing some kind of meditation inside the water of the Yamuna. He was meditating, and suddenly a basket which was floating. It just touched the body of Vrishbhanu Maharaj, and when Vrishbhanu Maharaj got somehow distracted through that, so he immediately saw that, and the box was actually emanating light from within. And then he opened the box and he saw she has found none other than Srimati Radharani. So this is how also Radharani appeared. And then there is another pastime in Padma Puran. Where similar way Radharani appeared to that of how Mother Sita also appeared. So if you all know, Sita got her name by this particular pastime. That it was Janak Maharaj who was plowing the field, and suddenly the tip of the plow hit, a form of the Lord, the form of Goddess Sita, and because it was hit by the tip of the plow, so she was called as Sita. And so similarly here also, Vrishbhanu Maharaj had gone along with his coward boys, his friends and all, to the field in order to plow, and then suddenly the plow hit the ground, and before hitting the ground, it just touched the the form of Srimati Radharani. She was in a basket or something, and somehow that's how Vrishbhanu Maharaj discovered Srimati Radharani. So this pastime is given in Padma Puran, and this is a pastime which Srila Prabhupada was narrating in Radhastami class, which was heard by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. And Radhanath Maharaj was sharing his experience. He was saying that when Prabhupada said this, I thought for a moment that maybe Prabhupada got confused and he has swapped the pastime of Sita Maya with Srimati Radharani. But later on, after some time, I discovered this pastime. I found out this pastime in Padma Puran. And then I actually got the realization that whatever Prabhupada has written is perfect. So yeah, so this is the transcendental nature of an Acharya, that the Acharya sometimes may say something which is probably not found in Shastra or maybe in a different way, but that is also true. That has to be accepted because that's his way of explaining or understanding which he's sharing. Okay, and Krishna is revealing to all the devotees in a different form and ways, right? Because there is variety in the spiritual world. It is not that the one and the same pastime is happening and everyone is seeing the same thing. The devotees are seeing different pastimes of the Lord according to their bhav and according to their particular relationship with the Lord. According to their particular mentality, Krishna manifests a particular pastime. So that's why we say that all these pastimes are true. They have taken probably in different days of Brahma, but all of them are definitely true. Okay, in fact, it's very interesting to know that this pastime by Rupa Goswami of the Vindhya mountain, it is actually not mentioned in the Shastra. And so probably it is the personal direct experience of Rupa Goswami. Okay, so he's just sharing his realization of the appearance of Srimati Radharani. So this is another pastime. Yeah. So I think we have covered all the pastimes of the appearances of Srimati Radharani. So any comment or question? Now there are amazing pastimes to be shared, which will have some concepts also. Some of them are not so deep, but other pastimes are actually quite deep, and it will require some background understanding. So now, anybody have any question or comment? Okay, so now we will discuss certain common pastimes, also popular pastimes, and how pastimes also. One pastime is connected to the opening of the eyes of Srimati Radharani. So, have you heard this pastime? Okay. Okay, so what happened is, Radharani, when she took birth, Purnamasi came to visit Srimati Radharani, and Purnamasi is the manifestation of Yoga Maya. She is also the grandmother of Madhumangal, and she's a disciple of Navadvip Muni. Okay, she is the one who's actually arranging the pastimes with Vrinda Devi, right? So she visited, and she visited the house of Vrishbhanu Maharaja, and she told Mother Yashoda, she glorified Srimati Radharani profusely, and she told her that you should take very nice care of this girl. She is actually the goddess of fortune, and she will give great pleasure to Krishna, and she is the eternal consort of Krishna, and she will give great pleasure to all devotees in her. Like she was glorifying. She was glorifying Radharani. And then, after some time, Vrishbhanu Maharaja and Kirtida, they looked at the lotus face of Srimati Radharani, and they noticed something very serious. They noticed that Srimati Radharani is not able to see anything because her eyes are closed, and she is not able to hear anything. She is not able to speak anything. So after some time, this child is born as deaf, dumb, and blind, because she's not able to see, she's not able to speak, she's not able to hear, and they got very upset. So in the anxiety, suddenly, sometime, Nanda and Yashoda Maya came, and they embraced each other. Yashoda Maya embraced Kirtida, and Nanda Maharaj embraced Vrishbhanu Maharaj, and they were just talking about Srimati Radharani, how she has taken birth, and then in the midst of the talk, Krishna was also with them. So obviously Krishna was in the form of a baby child, and then Krishna suddenly started walking, and he started walking towards Srimati Radharani, and then Krishna just touched Srimati Radharani, and immediately, as soon as Krishna touched Radharani, her eyes opened up, became wide, and then she was able to hear, and also she was able to see everything. So then, seeing this, Yashoda Maya, then Kirtida and Nand Maharaj, Vrishbhanu Maharaj, and all the vrajavasis, they became extremely jubilant, and they profusely glorified Srimati Radharani. So this is how one time it happened. And another time, what happened is Yashoda Maya, when she saw Radharani, actually Yashoda Maya was carrying Krishna. So as soon as she saw Radharani, she put Krishna down and she lifted Radharani. Now seeing this, Krishna got very upset, and he started crying, and he became angry. So then Yashoda Maya picked Krishna also. And then Krishna and Radharani came face to face very closely. And as soon as they came face to face, Krishna touched the body of Srimati Radharani, and immediately Radharani opened her eyes. So now the question is that, okay, why she was deaf, dumb, and not able to see, deaf, dumb, blind? Why she was not able to? Anyone? Why Radharani appeared like that? I mean, from the pastime also, it is very clear. We can clearly understand why Radharani appeared to be deaf, dumb, and blind.
He wanted to see Krishna first.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is something that Radharani actually was promised by Krishna, that because Radharani didn't want to come to the material world. So Krishna told her that I have sent Govardhan, Vrindavan, and Yamuna. So now we'll have to descend. But then Radharani was, she had some hesitation, because she was thinking that I cannot touch, I cannot see, I cannot hear anyone except you first. So then Krishna said, don't worry, I will make that arrangement. That's why Radharani appeared like that. Okay. Okay, so now there is another brief pastime of how Radharani met Durvasa Muni. So anyone is aware of that pastime? I think this is something that devotees must have heard. This pastime is quite popular. And why it is popular?
Durvasa Muni blesses Radharani that whoever eats her food,
Yes.
cooked food by her, they will live a very long life and they'll always be free of diseases, very healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so one time Radharani was, so this was, Radharani in her childish form, and she was having a deity of Krishna in her house, and she was serving Krishna, and she also had her friends. So one time she had gone for playing, and suddenly Durvasa Muni came, and seeing Durvasa Muni, all other friends disappeared. They ran away because they all knew that Durvasa Muni is a tough one to crack, right? Because he gets angry soon, and in anger he also curses them, right? So everyone was fearful and they all ran away. But Radharani was there, and she was blissful. So then Durvasa Muni came, and then Durvasa Muni requested Radharani that quickly go and prepare for me some kind of sweet rice. Okay, so then Radharani immediately ran. She went to the kitchen. She collected all the paraphernalia, and she immediately prepared sweet rice for Durvasa Muni. She offered it to him. Just as Durvasa Muni, just by seeing that, just by touching it, Durvasa Muni got some really transcendental vibes, and then what to speak of eating that. So as soon as he ate it, immediately he could realize that this is something which is beyond nectar. Even nectar taste and the transcendental touch and the smell of this item, which is prepared by Radharani. So immediately he realized that you are actually Mahalakshmi, and you are Goloka Raseshwari, that you are the eternal consort of the Supreme Lord. So I give you a blessing because you have pleased me. I give you a blessing that whatever you touch, whatever you make, everything that you will prepare, it will always be nectarian, and whoever will eat it, they will never uh, they will never come in contact with any type of disease or any kind of problem. They will eternally be healthy, and uh, they will be strong, and they will have all the auspiciousness of having the food which is cooked by you. So because of this blessing, Yashoda Maya calls Srimati Radharani every day, every single day, to prepare breakfast prasadam for Krishna. When Krishna is just about to leave with his sakhas and the cows for his leelas. So before that, Krishna has breakfast, and this breakfast is actually prepared by Srimati Radharani because she was blessed. That's why Yashoda Maya was very eager that Radharani come every day and prepare all the items for Krishna, so that my Krishna will be very healthy and strong. Okay, so like that. So this was a brief pastime. Okay, now this very nice pastime of a transcendental competition between Yashoda Maya and Srimati Radharani in order to prove the supremacy of Srimati Radharani. Okay, so now, okay, anyone aware of this pastime? Okay, so what happened one time, uh, Radharani was serving Krishna, and Krishna was completely taken aback by Srimati Radharani's service and mood and bhav. And he started glorifying Srimati Radharani. And in that glorification, at the end, he said that even Yashoda Maya also, she has to take her, she has to take blessings from you in order to serve me. That glorious you are. That even Yashomati has to take, and she has to fall at your feet in order to get that kind of prem that you have for me. So then Radharani, she became, she was like not really sure because she thought that Krishna is always a liar. So immediately she chastised Krishna that you are a liar. How can Yashoda Maya, who is actually your mother, have lesser love to you than me? It's not possible. You are always lying. You are a cheater. So then Krishna told Radharani that very soon you will see this. So then he demonstrated a pastime. And in this pastime, one time what happened is Radharani with all the Sakhis, they gathered together and they went and they met Krishna. And they inspired Krishna to start dancing. So then Krishna started dancing, and all these Sakhis, they were enjoying seeing Krishna dance. And then suddenly Yashoda Mai appeared there, and then she started yelling at all the gopis, and she started saying that how can you make Krishna dance? He's so tired. He has just returned from herding all the cows, and he has done so much work. So how can you make him dance? He's so tired. So then all the gopis, they started looking at Mother Yashoda, and they were like surprised that why is Mother Yashoda shouting at us like this? So the gopis said, Lalita Saki, she said that which Krishna you're talking about? This is our Krishna. Your Krishna is not here. Just because Krishna doesn't mean that no one can have the name Krishna. So this is our Krishna, and your Krishna is different. So you go to your house and you see that Krishna is actually sleeping on the bed, and our Krishna is different. He's dancing with us. So so Yashoda Maya actually couldn't believe that initially, but they all insisted, no, you go. You will see how your Krishna is sleeping on the bed in your house. So Yashoda Maya then went to her house, and literally she saw Krishna was sleeping on the bed. So then she got really surprised. How is it possible that there is actually so much similarity between this Krishna and that Krishna? But even though there is similarity, I am developing some affection for your Krishna. So please, let's do one thing. Let's all of us do one thing. Let us arrange for a dance between the two Krishnas. Okay, let's see how they dance. My Krishna and your Krishna. Okay, and after the dance is over, you can take away your Krishna and my Krishna will be with me. So then Radharani said that, well, this is not possible because we'll not be able to understand who is whose Krishna, because both are looking the same. So how will we understand this? So then Yashoda Maya said that, what is the problem? Your Krishna or mine Krishna is the same. They have the same features. Everything is same. Then Radharani said that, well, you think it's same, but it is not same. Our Krishna exactly knows the Ras Tattva, the Prem Tattva for the gopis, for our love. But your Krishna does not know that. And our Krishna has killed all the demons also. And then Yashoda Maya said that, well, the demons have been killed by my Krishna also. Saraka, Sutrine, Varta, Putana, they have all been killed by Krishna also. So then Radharani said, okay, we'll see with time. But right now, I would like to discriminate my Krishna from your Krishna. And the way to do is that we will put a tilak mark on our Krishna, which will which will be different from your Krishna. Your Krishna will not have a tilak mark. So then they put a tilak mark on Krishna's forehead, and then they took their Krishna to the house of Yashoda Maya, and they asked, they woke up the Krishna who was sleeping, and then they asked both Krishnas to dance. So then both Krishnas, they started dancing, and then suddenly what happened? Yashoda Maya's Krishna got merged in the body of the Krishna of the gopis. So as soon as they saw that, they were bewildered. Yashoda Maya was bewildered, and all the gopis also. So they were thinking that now, which is that Krishna? Who is that Krishna? And then immediately they saw that the tilak mark has been retained. So all the gopis, they become joyful. They exclaim that, okay, this is our Krishna, and he is still here, but your Krishna went away. So then Yashoda Maya became very upset. And Yashoda Maya said that, well, you are the ones, you are actually hiding my Krishna from you, and you are not allowing me to be with him. So you better give me my Krishna back. Otherwise, I will die. I will pass away my life here. Okay. So somehow or other, so she started crying profusely, and she was very anxious to see her Krishna back. And in that anxiety, she fainted. She became unconscious. And then Radharani looks at Krishna, and he's asking Krishna, and she's asking Krishna that where is the other Krishna? And Krishna is glancing, and he's just smiling at Radharani. And then he's saying, don't worry, she will not die. And you just go and tell Yashoda Maya that your Krishna is back. Okay. So then Radharani goes, and then she tells Yashoda Maya that, wake up, mother, your Krishna is back. And then immediately by looking, by hearing Radharani what she said, Yashoda Maya immediately wakes up. She becomes conscious, and then she becomes very happy to see her Krishna back. So that time Krishna manifests his second form, and then Yashoda Maya takes away her Krishna back to her house, and the gopis, they take their Krishna back to their place. So this is how Krishna glorified the position of Srimati Radharani, that she even superior to Yashoda Maiya. Radharani ki jai. Okay, so any comments or question? Okay. Okay, so are you all enjoying, or are you in the influence of Yoga Nidra? So I hope you are able to you are able to be uh, to be awake. You are able to keep yourself awake because there are some very interesting questions about to come now. Okay, so I just wanted to comment on two things. That it's very interesting to know the mercy of Srimati Radha is so great that the entire Radha Kund is based on the hoofprint of an asura, Aristasur. Right? I mean, generally, when we want to establish something, the foundation has to be very pure, right? It should be established on a very pure foundation. Whenever you want to build something, the foundation has to be very pure. This is what we desire all the time. That whatever, like, if you purchase a new car, if you purchase a new house, or if you are about to construct a building, then the first thing that we want to do is that it should be done on a very auspicious day. Okay, but here we see, can you imagine the inconceivable magnanimity of Srimati Radharani, that the foundation of that Radha Kund is actually the hoofprint of Aristasur, who was a demon. So that mercy Radharani has given to Aristasur, right? So this is a very special mercy. And another great mercy, another special mercy of Radharani is also manifested to Ashwatthama. So anyone is aware how Ashwatthama got the mercy of Srimati Radharani? Okay, so what do you know Ashwatthama? I think you are aware that he was cursed to suffer for a long period of time, right? And then it is also said, I think somewhere in Mahabharata or maybe some other source, so that he's supposed to come as Vedvyas in the next kalpa. So in that particular kalpa, he's supposed to suffer for a long period of time, as long as the kalpa will exist. Or probably it can also refer to the period of Manu, till one Manu's lifetime. That much suffering will undergo. But now it is so interesting that this Ashwatthama was given special mercy by Srimati Radharani, because somehow after committing all these offenses towards Pandavas, somehow he got a chance to reside in Kokilavan in Vraj. Okay, so where he actually association of the birds, the animals, the trees, the dust of the dham, and obviously the associates also of the dham, and somehow ultimately he got the mercy of Srimati Radharani. So Ashwatthama was also delivered by Srimati Radharani's mercy. This is the great glory of Srimati Radharani. Right? So demons or anyone, whoever approaches Srimati Radharani, so like it is said that if demons will approach Krishna, Krishna is so conjuice, right? I mean, demons will approach, he will give them Sayuja Mukti. Sometimes he will give them Prema. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radharani direct bestow Prema. Okay, and what to speak of Prema, the superlative type of Prema also they bestow, which is basically to attain a similar mood, which is that of Srimati Radharani and Gopis. So this is a speciality of Radharani and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu gave only to everyone. He was not concerned about mukti. But you see at Krishna, Krishna is so miser in giving his mercy. Sarva dharman parityaja. So many conditions and demands. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, no condition. Right? The goodness of Radharani. Okay, so now we are going to describe the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Punar Milan. Okay, and this it will probably require some kind of background also, some kind of concept also. So basically, so we all know that Radharani was separated from Krishna, right? Because Krishna moved to Mathura and Dwarka. And according to the curse also, she was not supposed to meet Krishna for 100 years. So for 100 years, she was in separation. So now what, how do we understand that Radharani met Krishna in Kurukshetra, and then she also met Krishna at several different places. So these are some of the pastimes which will describe that, and at the end we will understand and reconcile how all these things are possible at the same time. Okay. So Radha Krishna Punarmilan. So this is a pastime. Very interesting pastime. What happened is Krishna and his associates in Dwarka, the Yadus, they were performing one Ashwamedh Yagya. And you all know that if you want to perform Ashwamedh Yagya, then you have to release a horse. And that horse has to travel to all different parts of the country or the different parts of the world. And it has to send a message to everyone that either you submit to the will of who has sent me, or you catch me and you challenge the king. Okay, so we all know that. So one time the Dwarkavasis, they were performing Ashwamedh Yagya and they released a horse. So this horse was going around, and somehow it was the king of Bilwal. He was the king of Panchjanya Island. Sorry, I think it was the Bilwal was the name of the king, probably. I don't recollect, but I think Bilwal was the name of the king. And he was the king of the Panchjanya Island, which is close to the Ganga Sagara. So that time, the horse was traveling around, and the horse came to the region of Prayag. And somehow the king secretly stole the horse away, and he brought to his kingdom. So now Anirudh, who is Krishna's grandson, he actually understood, because all these associates were also traveling just to keep an eye on the horse, where they are going, right, from one place to another, where they are situated. So then this horse was, when it was brought to the kingdom of Bilwal, so Aniruddha went and challenged the king, and he fought with him. But in the fighting, Bilwal was very strong. So he kind of gave a tough one to Anirudh. And because of that, Anirudh and all the Yaduvasis who were there in the fight, in the battle, they started praying to Krishna that please appear and save Anirudh and all of us, because this Bilwal is very strong king. So then Krishna appeared, and then obviously when Krishna will appear, then he will defeat everyone. So he defeated Bilwal, and then he released the horse from him, and again the horse was he was set to move in the western direction. So after traveling a few places, the horse entered the presence of Vraj. So it just crossed Yamuna, and then it entered Vrindavan. Okay. So now when the horse entered Vrindavan, he saw, the cowherd boys, they saw this horse, which was so beautiful. And immediately they ran and they caught this horse. And immediately they tied the horse and they brought the horse to Nanda Maharaj. So then when Nanda Maharaj saw the horse, he was quite surprised. Where is this coming from? It's so beautiful. And then immediately he saw a letter, because with the horse there is also a letter which says that if you catch this horse, then you'll have to challenge the king. Okay, so Nanda Maharaj saw that, and he was extremely delighted and happy that it is Anirudh who is actually the one who has released this horse, and they are performing Ashwamedh Yagya. So he was so happy that he will be able to see Anirudh, who is Krishna's grandson. And so he was eagerly awaiting the arrival of Anirudh and all the Yaduvasis or the Dwarkavasis. And then Krishna, Balram, Uddhav and all of them, they were following up. So they were at different places, they were visiting different places. And finally, they also came to the border of Vraj. as soon as they came to the border of Vraj, Krishna blew his conch shell, and immediately that created excitement among the Vrajavasis. And Nand Maharaj, especially, it is said that when there is something auspicious, the right side of the body starts, shaking up. So you feel that, okay, there is something which is something auspicious is about to come, right? So then immediately Nand Maharaj, he prepared himself. He also informed all the Vrajavasis that Krishna is coming soon, and we have heard his conch shell. And then Krishna enters, and then he sees Nand Maharaj, and the first thing that he will do is come out of his chariot. He will pay obeisances to Nand Maharaj. He will embrace Nand Maharaj, and then he will he start embracing all the Vrajavasis. He will start remembering them. He start glorifying them, and he will communicate to them that he has been missing them since a long time. So all these wonderful exchangings were happening, and then Nand Maharaj was also able to greet Aniruddha, and then Samba, and all the other Dwarka Vasis also. So, and then finally Krishna came to meet Mother Yashoda. Now, obviously, we know that Yashoda Maiya's love for Krishna is much more than Nand Maharaj also. So she was profusely crying, and she has forgotten herself in the absence of Krishna, and she was completely drowning in tears. So Krishna pacified her. Krishna spoke with her, and then wonderful exchange was there between them. And then finally, Krishna, obviously, we know the ulterior purpose and the internal reasons of Krishna visiting Vrindavan. And the topmost reason is obviously he wanted to meet Srimati Radharani, right? So then in the evening time, the Sakhis, they had arranged a private meeting of Krishna and Radharani near a banana tree. Okay, and so Radharani and Krishna met, and then Radharani started expressing her feelings that why did you go there, and I'm feeling separated from you, and I have forgotten myself completely. She had not even dressed herself, not even eaten properly since so many years, and she was expressing her anxiety, her the feelings of separation to Krishna. And then Krishna finally gave assurance to her that don't worry, we are united now, but again I will come out again after some time, and after that visit we will all go back to Goloka. And after saying this, all the Vraj gopis and Krishna, they again went to the forest and performed their Rasa Dāsa. So this is one description of the Punar Milan of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, and who actually came back from Dwarka that time. Okay. So, okay, any comments or questions? Okay, now the next pastime is of the meeting happened at Siddhashram. Okay, so now Siddhashram, have you heard about Siddhashram? Anyone has heard about Siddhashram? Siddha Ashram. Okay, so see, this meeting, just like Krishna and the Yadus had met the Vrajavasis in Kurukshetra. So similarly, they also met at Siddha Ashram. But their meeting at Kurukshetra happened after, before the Rajsuya Yagya, which was performed by, their meeting in Kurukshetra happened before Balram left for Vrindavan. Okay, so it was, they also had visited from Dwarka. When the meeting happened at Kurukshetra, that time Krishna had moved to Dwarka. So that time also all these Yadu and the Vrajavasis had again met in Kurukshetra. But this is a pastime which happened at the end of Krishna's or the gopis' separation from Krishna for 100 years. So now this curse was released after 100 years, and they met again at Siddhashram. Okay, so now this place, Siddhashram, is a place which is specially popular for its worship of Lord Ganesh. Okay, and a lot of sages and saintly people, they have attained siddhis here. For example, Sanat Kumar also, he attained siddh here at Siddhashram by performing worship of Ganesh. So Srimati Radharani, she took a bath at Siddhashram, and then she came out, and then she worshipped Ganesha, and she also offered some kind of paraphernalia to Ganesh. And then Ganesh appeared to Srimati Radharani and told her that actually you are the Shakti, you are the supreme goddess. You don't have to worship me. Just for showing others how to worship me, you are just setting an example. But you are worshipable to me also. So whatever gifts that you have given to me, you just distribute amongst the Brahmanas, and that way I will collect it. Okay, so Ganesha also told her that very soon you will fulfill your desires. And then Ganesha left. And then after some time, Parvati also came, and she embraced Radharani, and she also glorified Srimati Radharani, and she told her that now your waiting period is over. Finally, you will be able to see Krishna. You will be able to meet him face to face. So yeah. So what happened now? So the Vrajavasis and the Dwarkavasis, they met, and because Radharani had taken bath in that lake or river which was present at Siddhashram, so the entire lake transformed into golden color. And then all the Sakhis were asking Krishna why it happened like this. Then Krishna said that, okay, it's because of the devotion of Radha, and it was the complexion of Srimati Radharani that manifested in the lake. Okay, and then later on, Krishna, so Vasudev and Devki, they were also present there. So they performed some kind of yajna, and then after that they distributed some charity to the Brahmanas. And then Krishna asked them to leave for Mathura and Dwarka. Okay, so now, along with Vasudev, Devki and the Yadu dynasty, Krishna also went with them. Okay, and how he went with them? In the form of his Vasudev expansion. But in his original form, or in his another form, he stayed at Siddhashram. Okay, and then after some time he asked Nand Maharaj and all the Vrajavasis to leave. So they also left. And then there was a meeting between Radharani and Krishna and the gopis. And then, what happened is, suddenly, all of a sudden, Radha and Shyam Sundar, they appeared in their Kaishore forms. Okay, and seeing that form of Shyam Sundar, Radharani fainted. And then again, by the efforts of her Sakhis, she was brought to consciousness. And then Radharani was expressing again her emotions to Krishna, that I felt so much separation from you and all that. Okay, and then finally Radharani requested Krishna to return to Vraj because she was not satisfied there also. Even after meeting Krishna, she was not satisfied. And as we discussed earlier, that Vrajavasis are attached to Vraj more. Okay, just because they can completely reciprocate with Krishna, and Krishna can also completely reciprocate with the Vrajavasis only in Vraj. So then Radharani requested Krishna to come back. So the next day they returned, and then they all assembled together, and then Krishna was just sharing that it's time for Kali to manifest soon. And there are a lot of inauspicious symptoms of Kali Yuga. So before that, we all must leave. So the celestial chariot from Goloka came down, and then all of the Vrajavasis, they all got together, and they embarked on the chariot and they went back to Goloka. So this is after meeting at Siddhashram, they all went to Goloka. So this is one of the pastime. Now, it's very interesting that in our Janmashtami class, we had discussed about how Krishna enters Vrindavan after killing Dantavakra, right? And then he takes them to Goloka from there, right? But here we are actually seeing that at the end of the 100 years completed, Krishna is, he's coming with the Dwarkavasis, and after that he's taking away, he's entering, and then he's taking away all the Vrajavasis back to Goloka. So we'll try to answer all these questions. It seems to be a bit complicated, but we'll try to resolve this as much as possible. Okay, so then they all went to Goloka, and then obviously Radharani went back to her place where she came from. So she went near Satyasingha, which is, as I said, which is like Govardhan in our Bhuvan. She returned to Satyasingha near the Ras Mandal, and then Vrinda Devi was already present to welcome all the gopis, the Sakhis and the vrajavasis. She had made elaborate arrangement to welcome them all, and again then Radharani sat in the Ratna Simhasan, and then all the gopis surrounded her, and they elaborately started worshipping Srimati Radharani. So this is how she entered Goloka. So this is one fasting. Okay, so now a very conceptual topic I will be presenting. It is not necessarily a pastime. Obviously, it is a leela only, but it has a lot of concepts in it. So now we'll be discussing about the disappearance of or the suicide of Srimati Radharani, Lalita, Chandravali, and all the gopis from Vrindavan. So 16,108 gopis, they all left, they all disappeared from Vraj. So what happened and how did they appear in Dwarka? So we'll discuss that now. Okay, any question is there? Okay, so let's start with the disappearance of Radharani and Krishna. Okay. Yeah, so what happened? One time, Radharani was feeling intense separation from Krishna. And just by looking at the footprints of Krishna in Vraj, just by seeing the flag, the gourd, and other signs of Krishna's lotus footprints, Radharani was getting into ecstasy and she was fainting again and again. So seeing her condition like that, Lalita and Vishaka approached with Radharani and they told her, let's go to Surya Dev, because Radharani was ardent devotee of Surya Dev, sun god. And she used to visit Surya Dev with a lot of devotion before Krishna left for Mathura. So, they approached Radharani and they said that let's go to Surya Dev and let's try to pray to Surya Dev to fulfill our desires. Because Surya Dev is very merciful and till now he has fulfilled our desires. So let's go ahead and let's pray to Surya Dev. So then all of them, they quickly went and they approached Surya Dev. They started worshipping, glorifying Surya Dev. And then, they thought that their desires will be fulfilled. Okay, so then later on, Lalita said to Radharani that let's go, because Radharani was, whenever she was seeing Yamuna, whenever she was seeing something connected to Krishna, she was actually feeling a lot of anxiety and separation from Krishna. And she used to faint. So one time Lalita said that, okay, let's go to Kalya Lake, where the Khel Tirth, where Kalya actually had, Krishna had performed pastimes with Kalya. And I'm sure that Krishna will be there probably. So let's go there. So then they all got excited and they went there. Okay. So then, as soon as they reached the presence of Yamuna at Khel Tirth, Radharani immediately saw Krishna, and he immediately informed Lalita and Vishaka that, well, do you see this? That Krishna is waving his hand from the Yamuna. He's inside the Yamuna. He's waving his hand, and he's also hiding behind the lotus flowers. So Vishaka saw that also, and both of them saw. And Vishaka told Radharani, yeah, I can also see. So let's dive into the Yamuna and try to catch Krishna and catch him so tight that he will never escape from here. Okay, he will always be with us. So they both jumped into Yamuna, and then gradually, Radharani's knees, they were submerged with Yamuna, and then finally her shoulders, and then the water completely went overhead of Srimati Radharani. Okay, and she was feeling Krishna's presence in the Yamuna. She could see Krishna also in the Yamuna, and then after some time she became unconscious. So seeing that, so Vishaka was seeing all these things, and seeing that Radharani has become unconscious, and she was like, so she became very depressed and anxious. And she started thinking that Radharani is drowning now. She's about to give her life now. But then immediately she realized, she saw Krishna taking away Srimati Radharani. So Krishna was carrying away Srimati Radharani. After that, she felt very peaceful and satisfied. But after some time again, Vishaka also became unconscious. In the unconscious state, she heard a voice from Suryadev to bring Radharani to him. Okay, so there's something which is connected to this particular instruction that Suryadev gave to Vishaka. Now, see, one thing is that Vishaka is actually so not different from Yamuna. In fact, Yamuna is the expansion of Vishaka Sakhi. Okay, so what is the reason that Suryadev had instructed her like this? Is that actually because since Radharani used to worship Suryadev earlier, Suryadev could actually understand that in future Radharani will be committing suicide in the Yamuna water, and that's why what he did is, and we know that Yamuna is actually the daughter of Suryadev, and Yamraj is also the son of Suryadev, so they are brother and sister. So he actually called Yamuna earlier, and he already informed to Yamuna that sometime in the future Radharani and Vishaka will come and they will drown themselves, but as just before they are about to give up their lives, you take them to me, you bring them to me. Okay, so Yamuna she obeyed the order of Suryadev, and she brought Vishaka and Radharani both to Suryadev. Okay, now interestingly, along with Radharani and Vishaka, Radharani was also wearing the Samantak jewel on her Simanta. That's the reason the jewel got the name Samantak, because it was in the Simanta of Srimati Radharani. So then this Simanta also, this Samantak jewel also was, it had fallen down in the Yamuna, and then somehow Yamuna had caught hold of that, and she also, along with the Samantak jewel, she presented Radharani and Vishaka to Suryadev. So they appeared in the planet of Suryadev. Okay. Now, the history of this Samantak jewel is that if you all remember, there's a demon who actually tried to steal away all the gopis when Krishna and Balrama were performing their leelas with the gopis. So that time Shankachud came, and then he wanted to steal away because he was also attracted by the gopis. So he wanted to enjoy like the way Krishna was enjoying. So then he stole away all the gopis, and then obviously he also dragged Srimati Radharani, was trying to drag her away. And then seeing that, Krishna gets very angry and he runs, and then he gives a tight punch to Shankachud on his forehead, and that's how he's killed. But on his forehead he had a Samantak jewel. So after killing him, he presents this to Lord Balram, since Balram is also supreme personality of Godhead. In order to give him the proper respect with due etiquette, he presented this to Balram. And then Balram, actually he didn't want this, so he gave this to Srimati Radharani as a gift. And from that period onwards, Radharani was always wearing Samantak jewel on her forehead. So this Samantak jewel went away with Radharani and Vishaka in Surya Dev's planet, in the sun god's planet. Okay, so now see how this is connected to Satyabhama and the Samantak jewel. Okay, so we'll discuss that. Yeah, so now what happens? So in spite of being in one more thing, the wife of Suryadev, she was very affectionate towards Vishaka, because Vishaka definitely is the daughter of Suryadev, since Yamuna is the expansion of Vishaka. And because of that affection, she also felt the similar affection towards Radharani. And so she made sure that Radharani and Vishaka are taken care of nicely, they are comfortable, and then provided everything, all the facilities and everything. But still Radharani, even though in spite of being taken away from Yamuna in Vindhya to the sun god's planet, she was not satisfied at all, because so she expressed her desire, you have brought me here, but I'm not satisfied, because at least when I was in Vrindavan, I was able to remember Krishna, and that was specifying me. But here now I'm completely bereft of Vrindavan. So please release me from this. Okay. So then what happened? The wife of Suryadev, she arranged a wonderful gift for Srimati Radharani. So what she did is, she summoned Vishwakarma, and she asked Vishwakarma to build a place exactly that resembles Vrindavan, but build it near Dwarka, so that when Radharani goes to this place, it will actually make her feel that she is in Vrindavan, and she will be satisfied in that. So that place will be called as Nava Vrindavan also. Okay, so Vishwakarma created exactly a place like Vraj near Dwarka, which is called as Nava Vrindavan, and that place had Vrindavan, Govardhan, Yamuna, everything. And in the Brihad Bhagavatam it is mentioned that he also manifested replicates of the cowherd boys and cowherd girls. Okay, just to make sure that Radharani is comfortable in that Nava Vrindavan. So this is how Radharani into the planet of the sun god. Okay, Radha and Vishaka both. Now, how Radha became see, as we know, Satyabhama's father was Satyajit, right? And this Satyajit, he was also very devoted to sun god. That's why we know that sun god was very pleased with him, and he actually bestowed gift to him, right? So what he gave to him was, along with the Shamantak jewel, he also gave him Radharani, because Radharani was under the care of the sun god that time. So so she went. Radharani and Shamantak jewel was presented to Satyajit by the sun god, and sun god told Satyajit that you have to take care of this girl very carefully. Okay, and whoever Narad Muni will propose you, you should get married this girl to that particular person. Okay. So now you know that this particular Shamantak jewel was producing 8 bars of sona every day, of gold every day. That's how that popular. Okay, and then so Narad Muni then personally appeared, and then he told Satyajit that you have to keep this girl in your protection until and unless Krishna will come personally. Okay, so this is how Radharani actually became Satyabhama, and she went to Dwarka. Okay, so now this is about Radharani. Now let's talk about Chandravali. So we know that Rukmini is the incarnation of Chandravali, right? Everyone knows that. So how did Chandravali appear as Rukmini in Dwarka? So let's discuss this. Okay, so what happened is, after Krishna left for Mathura, suddenly now Chandravali was also married. Radharani was also married. All the Sakhis were married, because here we're talking about a Prema relationship. So Chandravali also got married to Govardhan. Radharani got married to Abhimanyu. Chandravali got married to Govardhan. And after Krishna left for Mathura, after some time Govardhan passed away. And then Chandravali also got to know that the Sakhis have also left. Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, they have also left by committing suicide. So now this news was informed to Maharaj Bhishmak. Now, so if you remember, so let's connect this to the pastime which we were discussing about the cursing. No, sorry, the Vindhya mountain desiring to have Radharani and Chandravali as her daughter, right? So as his daughter. So now, if you remember, when Putna was carrying the 2 children, one of the child fell down and it flowed in the river and it reached the city of Vidarbha. So we know that Bhishmak actually is the father of Rukmini, right? So this is connecting to that now. So what happened? Bhishmak knew, and I have already mentioned that Bhishmak took care of the child for 5 years. So she was there in Vidarbha. Then later on she got transferred to Vrindavan, right? So Bhishmaka actually was the father of Chandravali also, along with Chandrabhanu. So Bhishmaka came, he became very worried because he got to understand that these Sakhis have left, and then Chandravali is all alone. She's in the separation of her husband as well as other Sakhis. So Bhishmak became extremely worried about it. Okay, and then Bhishmak's wife, Shruti Shrava, her name is Shruti Shrava. So she was the one who was actually residing in Vrindavan earlier. And after Vasudeva was released from the prison, she went and visited him at his father's house. At Vasudeva, or actually Vasudeva was the brother of Shruti Shrava. Okay, so they both met, and then that time Gargi, who is the daughter of Garg Muni, she informed Shruti Shrava all the secrets about Chandravali, that how she is the daughter of Bhishmak and Shruti Shrava. So now when so she informed this to Rukmi, who is the son of Bhishmak and the brother of Rukmini. Okay, so now when Rukmi heard this, he became very desperate and he went to Vraj to take Chandravali back. So then he went and now he took Chandravali back, and then later on Chandravali appeared as Rukmini. Right? We all know how Rukmini from Vidarbha she was moved to Dwarka. She wrote a letter to Krishna, and then Krishna came, kidnapped her, and then finally Rukmini attained Krishna in Dwarka. Right? So this is how she Chandravali became Rukmini, and Rukmini enters Dwarka. Okay, so now we will go to how Vishaka disappeared. Okay, so what happened is, so Vishaka was, if you remember, Radharani and Vishaka, they were both staying in the sun planet's place, right? The sun god's place. And so Vishaka, although Radharani had returned in the form of Satyabhama, Vishaka stayed there for some time. Okay, and no one was knowing about Vishaka, where she is, where she has gone. No information about her. So now, so one time what happened, when Rukmini had got married to Krishna, after that, Rukmini made a request to Krishna to get a specific type of lotus flower, which is called as Sura Saugandhika lotus flowers. It's a very unique lotus flower, which is not found anywhere else. So then Krishna, along with Arjuna, they both went to the Khandav forest, Khandav Prasth, and they saw, because they were searching for these lotus flowers, and in the midst of that, they saw two birds who were just about to be killed by two eagles. And these two eagles were gigantic, and they were about to attack them, and they were about to kill them. So they just saw these two birds, and before passing out, so one bird was talking to another bird. So one bird was a swan, white swan, another was a parrot. So this white swan was saying, "Dear parrot, I will no longer be able to eat mrunal, moonlight lotus roots, in the Kanda Yagya of Radha." And then the parrot replied that I will no longer be able to see Vakra Angaraka fruit like many red planets in Radha's Phal Shastra sacrifice. So the exact meaning I also don't understand what they are saying, but this is just a pastime, so we'll continue with that. So Krishna heard this, and especially because they narrate the name of Srimati Radharani. So Krishna heard this, and he decided right there on the spot to save them. Okay, so Krishna saved them, and Krishna, along with Arjuna and the two birds, they started wandering in the forest, and suddenly they came across a very, very peaceful lady, a very elderly, peaceful lady, and so Krishna asked her that, "Who are you?" And she replied that that she's the one who is actually looking after these two birds who are staying near this lake. So there was a lake, and they were staying near that lake. And then she said that this lake is actually created by the sacrifice and austerity. And there is also a tree here which has many fruits that taste like nectar. So Krishna became eager to know, and he asked that who performed this kind of sacrifice and austerity. So he replied that one Tapaswini, who is actually observing this austerity vow, and she's residing in water of this lake to fulfill the desire of Srimati Radharani, and she is observing a vow which is called as Radha Abhista Sadhana. Okay, in order to fulfill the desire of Srimati Radharani. So now her vow is completed, and she is living in the forest near the mountain in a cave. So Krishna went there and saw this lady covered with tree bark, dust, and sand. Okay, she was like in a very, although she was definitely very beautiful, but she was covered with all these filthy things. Okay, and she was also chanting on Japamala made of rubies. So then Krishna went to her. She actually could not, as soon as Krishna went there, this Tapaswini, immediately she saw Krishna, and she became extremely happy and pleased. Okay, and then after becoming happy and satisfied, she immediately understood that my Krishna has appeared to me. So then Krishna asked her that, who are you? And she said, you don't remember, you have forgotten, I am the same Vishaka. And then by hearing the name of Vishaka, Krishna also became ecstatic. And then somehow Krishna took her away to Dwarka because she was in a filthy condition. So from there, he immediately moved her to Dwarka. And Krishna provided all the facilities and all the paraphernalia to her. Okay, so this is how Vishaka also appeared in Dwarka. Okay. Okay, so now we'll come to the disappearance of Lalita, how Lalita disappeared. So if you remember, we were discussing about the past time when Lalita and Vishaka were there with Radharani, and then Vishaka and Radharani jumped into the Yamuna and they were carried along, right? And then Lalita was observing all these things from outside because she did not dive into Yamuna. She was there. So she was seeing all these things happening in front of her. And then suddenly she became very, very disheartened because, and she started crying and she started yelling because in front of her own eyes, she saw her most beloved Sakhis disappearing. So she was also about to jump into the Yamuna. And then suddenly Mukhara and Vrinda Devi. Now Mukhara is the grand mother of Srimati Radharani. So, okay, so Mukhara, so she and Vrinda Devi, they saw Lalita was just about to jump in the Yamuna. So immediately they started running and they caught hold of Lalita Devi. And somehow they protected Lalita from drowning and from jumping in the Yamuna. So even if, even they, after protecting Lalita was not satisfied. She was crying like anything. She was mad. And she was telling me that leave me and I want to end my life. And then Mukhara and Vrinda were trying to pacify her and they told her that all the gopis have disappeared. Now, if you also, being the leader of all the gopis, if you disappear, then what will happen to the vrajavasis? We'll all die. So for our sake, for the sake of Krishna, when Krishna will hear that you all disappeared, how will he feel? So please stay back. So then they took, so Lalita, for the timing, she got convinced and she went away. But then as soon as they were going, they came near the Govardhan hill. And Mukhara and Vrinda, they were thinking, now what we are going to do without the absence of Krishna? How we are going to console the vrajavasis? So she was thinking that in the meantime, Lalita took a chance and she went to Govardhan, top of Govardhan, and she jumped from there. So Mukhara saw that she is going up and she is just about to jump, but before she could catch hold of her, she jumped from Govardhan. Okay, so what happened? Now see, that time Govardhan was not such a, it was, Govardhan had a very huge height. This was like 5,000 years ago. So, and we also know that how Govardhan was cursed by Pulatya Muni, that as Kali Yuga will progress each and every day, your size is reduced by 1 grain of sand, right? That's how Govardhan's height has become very low now. And at the same time, the length and the width of Govardhan also has shrunk. And it is also said that, Govardhan is also feeling intense separation from Krishna currently. That's why the size is actually reducing. Okay. Anyways, so that time Govardhan had a huge height and so she fell down. But what happened? That time, Jamban, okay, Jamban was actually present. That moment he was present right there. So Lalita climbed from above and Jamban caught Lalita Devi somehow because he saw that someone is climbing from above. And so he caught hold of Lalita. And then later on, Jamban took Lalita to Patal Lok because Jamban was actually residing in Patal Lok. But because of the instruction of Surya Dev, somehow Jamban happened to be in Vraj that time. So Surya Dev actually instructed Jamban to be present in Govardhan. Okay, so Jamban was present there and he took Lalita and he went to Patal Lok, which is lower planetary system. Okay, so now this is Jamban came to Patal Lok. Now we all know what happened. So Satyajit, Maharaj Satyajit, who is the father of uh, Rukmini. Okay. So now, sorry, he's the father of Satyabhama. So Satyajit had a brother. Actually, Narada had already forecasted all these things which were going to happen to Satyajit Maharaj when he received Satyabhama and Samanta jewel from Suryadev. That time Narada Muni visited him and he had already forecasted that in the future, because of this Samanta jewel, your brother will be killed by a lion. Okay. And then somehow Jamvan, he will take this Samanta jewel and from there it will come to Krishna. So now we know from Krishna's Dwarka pastime that Satyajit offered this Samanta jewel to his brother instead of offering to Krishna. Actually, Krishna was the one who felt that because this is a very auspicious treasure which is given by the sun god, it's deserving to be at the palace of Ugrasen Maharaj. So Krishna went and he requested Satyajit to give it to him, to give it to Ugrasen, but he denied. So later on, so Acharyas say that because of this offense, his brother had to be killed somehow. So, so this Samanta jewel, and then later on, Satyajit also was killed because of this offense by a conspiracy which was plotted by Akrura and Kritvarma, I think. Someone was there. So, anyways, but so what happened is instead of offering to Krishna, he offered this Samanta jewel to his brother Prasena. And so his brother Prasena, he went to a forest while wearing this Samanta jewel. And because of the attractive glowing effulgence of this jewel, a lion came, got attracted, and he killed Prasena. And then he took away the Samanta jewel. But then Jamvan happened to meet the lion, and then Jamvan killed the lion, and he took that Samanta jewel with him. So now Jamvan had the Samanta jewel as well as Lalita also. Okay, with him in Patalok. So then we know that how Krishna went to Patalok and then he had a fight with Jamvan. And why did Krishna go and somehow his intention was to actually get the Samanta jewel? Because there was a rumor spreading around and Satyajit was the one who actually blamed Krishna for the stealing, because he thought that because I denied to Krishna, that's why Krishna is now taking revenge and he killed my brother and he took away the Samanta jewel. So in order to get rid of that blame, Krishna personally took it upon himself and he went and he founded the Samanta jewel. So he went in the Patalok and he fought with Jamvan for 28 days. And after that, Jamvan realized that no one else can defeat me or make me so weak other than my Supreme Lord. So then he realized that he is non-different from Lord Ramchandra himself. And so that's how, so what happened is Jamvan, he asked Krishna to wait for some time and he was going to bring that jewel. Okay. So now there is something very, very interesting happened. Somehow one lady appeared in front of Krishna, one old lady, she appeared in front of Krishna and she informed Krishna that Jamvan will give you this Samanta jewel, but if you take it with you, then Jambavati will actually die because she is extremely attached to this Samanta jewel. Okay, and who is this Jambavati? Lalita, because this Lalita was actually carried to the lower planetary system and she appeared in the form of Jambavati. Jambavan named her Jambavati. So now, so Krishna asked the lady why she's so attached, and this lady told Krishna that actually this Jambavati, right from the beginning, she has a deity of Radhika and Madhav, which she is worshipping since a long time. And what I see now is that the deity has appeared, manifested himself, because I see that you look exactly like the deity which Jambavati is worshipping. So then immediately she got excited and she ran and she went inside the room of Jambavati and she told her everything, that how amongst the Radha and Madhika deity, your Madhava is manifested. He's right here. He's present. So Jambavati got very excited and then she hid behind the tree and she observed very carefully. And then she realized that, oh, this is the same Madhav which I was worshipping. She got very enthused. And then finally, actually, they realized that she's Lalita, and this is Jambavati who actually narrated what happened and how she has come here. So then Krishna and Jambavati both realized that, okay, it's the same Lalita, and they were so happy. And then we know that how Jamban, Jambavati as well as the Shamantan jewel to Krishna. And so later on, Krishna took Jambavati also to Dwarka. This is how Lalita also got transferred to Dwarka. So this is how Lalita manifested. And now what happened? Till now we have discussed about Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, Chandravali. Okay, so now what about the 4 other gopis, the Mahashaktis, or the 8 main gopis of Vraj, out of that 16,108. So what happened to the other 4? So it is very interesting to note that these gopis, they were taken by different kings to their house. Okay, so Padma was taken to the house of King Nandajit. That's why she got the name Nandajiti. Then Shamala to Madras, the king of Madrasa, and then Shamala later became Lakshmana. And then Saibya was shifted to the king of Saibya, and she got the name Mitravinda, and Bhadra to the king of Kaike. And I think her name was probably Bhadra only. So, okay, so what is the background of these kings? So these kings, okay, so now it is very important. Putna also had children with her, and she had dropped them at different places, at different provinces. And so all these kings, they were the father of all these other gopis. And later on, they were transferred to Vrindavan. And now the father of all these gopis, they came to Vrindavan, hearing that all other Sakhis have disappeared. And, so they were also concerned and worried. So they went to Vrindavan and they requested the husband of all these other 4 gopis to somehow get them to their house, so that they can get some change of environment and they will be happy. Okay, so that's how these 4 gopis manifested in these different forms. Now, what happened to 16,100 gopis? So this is very interesting. So this is something I think devotees may be able to collect, recollect and connect it, with the pastime of Krishna's releasing the 16,100 queens from Narakasura's prison house. Right? So what happened? These 16,100 gopis, they were kidnapped by Narakasura. He had come to Vraj. He kidnapped all these 16,100 wives and he imprisoned them. Okay, and why they appeared there? Because this 16,100 queens, they had a desire to become Krishna's wife. So they had prayed to Kamakya Mata. They had a desire to attain Krishna as their husband. In order to fulfill their desire, they all shifted to Narakasura's palace. Okay, and then later on we know that how Krishna defeated Narakasura and he released all these 16,100 queens, and then he married to all of them. Right. So with this, we are we end our disappearance of all these gopis. Now I would like to also share certain important concepts. What exactly happened? How? Okay. And this is also connected to Janmashtami. So after this, we will try to resolve these things. Okay. I mean, it all sounds very strange to us that how these gopis are disappearing and appearing and all that, but we'll try to resolve this. Okay, so basically what happened is, after Krishna's appearance in Prakat Gokul, the Prakat, so I've explained in detail about Prakat and Aprakat form of Vrindavan as well as Vrajavasis, right? So after his Prakat appearance in Gokul, Krishna remained in Vrindavan for 10 years and 9 months. Okay, during that time, he displayed many sweet pastimes, and then he appeared to be half again older than he was physically. This also we have discussed, half again old, which means Krishna was actually displaying the features of a youth. Now, then, despite the Vrajavasis left for Mathura and to kill Kamsa, and then he also established Dharma. And then after 1 month, during which time Krishna killed Kamsa and all his assistant and supporters, and enthroned Maharaj Ugrasen, Krishna left for Avantipur, where we know that Krishna for 2 months he studied 64 days, 64 arts he studied under Sandipani Muni, right? Then on around his 11th birthday, because Krishna left Mathura at the age of 10 years and 6 months. Then 1 month you can say that he killed Kamsa and then all others. So that becomes 10 years and 9 months he left Mathura, and then one month you can consider extra for killing Kamsa and all others. So that becomes 10 months, 10 years and 10 months, and then and 2 months he studied in Sandipani Muni's ashram, 64 days. So you can consider around 11th year. So 11th birthday he returned to Mathura in order to give pleasure to his Vrishbhanu relatives. But again he was not happy and he longed for Vrindavan, love for the Vrajavasis. So in order to relieve the sorrow of the Vrajavasis, as well as own guilty conscience, in order to give them tame, Krishna sent his cousin Uddhava to Vrindavan. So this we discussed elaborately in our Janmashtami fasting. Okay, we have also discussed about how Balram visited Vrindavan elaborately in the Balram Purnima class, right? So if devotees have not heard Balram class also, then please hear that. So Uddhav visited Vrindavan, and then Uddhav delivered Krishna many letters to the Vrajavasis. And for 2 months, Uddhav was there. He gave life to the Vrajavasis by speaking only about Harikatha. And then Uddhav, when he returned to Mathura, he convinced Krishna to visit Vrindavan, giving unlimited pleasure to the Vrajavasis. So once again, Krishna was a happy cowherd boy, tending cows, dancing with the gopis, and enjoying with all the Vrajavasis. But so he was there for 2 months. So Uddhav went, he came back after 2 months, he kind of inspired Krishna to go, and then Krishna went, and then Krishna stayed there for 2 months, and then he returned to Mathura. And in Mathura, Krishna lived there for another 25 years. Okay, so Krishna spent most of his stay in Mathura warding off Jarasandha's almost annual attack of the city. So he was like busy continuously trying to defend himself from Jarasandha. But he did not, but somehow he did manage to find time to correspond regularly with the Vrajavasis, and occasionally he also visited them. Okay, so the Vrajavasis and the Vishnu's, Krishna then constructed the city of Dwarka, and in his 36th year, he mystically transported all his relatives to that island, which is Dwarka. So upon hearing of Krishna's move to a distant place, the gopis, under different mysterious circumstances, they all disappeared from Vrindavan, only to reappear as queens in Dwarka. Rukmini was first to marry Krishna. Then, in quick succession, Krishna located and married the other 16,107 gopis. The foremost of these was Satyabhama, who was Sri Radha, appearing as an aristocratic princess. But still, Krishna was lament in separation from Vrajavasi, and they lamented also. So he dreamed about them, he wrote to them, sent messages, including his brother Balram. Then, in his 44th year, taking advantage of the solar eclipse, Krishna invited the Vrajavasis to make a pilgrimage to Kurukshetra. Right? So Balram went before Krishna met the Vrajavasis at Kurukshetra. At that holy place, the Vishnus and Vrajavasis enjoyed an emotional reunion. Okay, now although Vrajavasis had come to Kurukshetra for short pilgrimage, their love kept them and Krishna bound together for 3 months. Finally, Krishna convinced the Vrajavasis to return home by telling them that soon he would visit Vrindavan. So now after the Kurukshetra meeting, so now, okay, the question is that, okay, now when Krishna appears? So we know that he appears when he kills Dantavakra. And so this pastime of killing the Tokra was after the Kurukshetra meeting, but before the Rajsuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Parikshit, Yudhishthir. So, so not long after the Kurukshetra meeting, following the Rajsuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthir, Krishna came to Mathura to fight Dhanpatra. After King Dhanpatra gave up his weapons, put on the dress of a Gopa and entered Gokul, where the vrajavasis were waiting for him. That 2-month visit to Gokul had a different flavor than did Krishna's earlier pastimes on the western side of the Yamuna. Satisfaction of his Gokul associates displays his pastime of marrying the gopis. Conclusion of his visit, Krishna again returned to Dwarka, but remained in Vrindavan in his unmanifested form as he always does. This time, however, he was visible to vrajavasis, and thus they were able to associate with him constantly. Pandavas then spent 10 years in exile. After that, the bloody war of Kurukshetra and Yudhishthir Maharaj's ascension to the throne. Krishna was 57 years old that time. His emperor cousin Yudhishthir 60. Krishna also repeatedly visited Vrindavan during that time. Once Krishna in great ecstasy went to Vrindavan with Balram and Subhadra. Another time, inspired by reciting the Pearl story, he went with Satyabhama. And yet another time, Krishna with all his queens visited Kamyavan. So finally, 100 years after Krishna's departure from Vrindavan, Sridhama's curse expired. Srimati Radharani, along with her other Swakiya at once went to Dwarka, where Krishna married them. After this incident, Krishna continued to live in Dwarka with the Swakiya Gopi expansions and his queens for another 14 years. And then finally, in his 125th year, he decided to close his Prakat pastimes and to return to Prakat Goloka, accompanied by all his associates. Jai Srimati Radharani ki Jai. Okay, so now we have finished the class. There is one particular topic which I wanted to discuss, but I think I will be discussing some other time, not now. Because too much content and too many topics were there in this. So later on, maybe when time will permit that time. Okay, all right. So now, devotees, I'm quite surprised and happy to know that you're all awake. So any questions or comments on this? Are you able to follow? Yeah, so if you remember, Janmashtami class, we had discussed that there were only two references when Krishna returned back to Vrindavan. But it seems that actually there are more references of Krishna returning to his frequent visits to Vraj. And I think so some of them are basically ascribed to as being happened, or they took place in some other kalpa, like that, because acharyas do not mention about these other pastimes. So that's why we are saying that there are only two references when Krishna returned. Although it is possible that Krishna returned multiple times, and obviously Krishna Leela itself is actually like a kalpa vriksha tree, right? Or a kamdhenu cow. Whatever your desire, according to that desire, it will manifest itself. And so some devotees will perceive Krishna Leela with different features and different details, and some other devotees, they will also perceive Krishna Leela in different ways, right? But overall, what we understand is that in Goloka there is a division which is Vrindavan Gokul. Now see, again, this is present in Goloka. It is not present in material Goloka, Gokul or Bhoma Braj. This is only present where we have a division which is consisting of the Radharani and the Gopis enjoying paramar loving relationship with Krishna. And we also have Radharani and the Gopis enjoying a Swakiya relationship with Krishna in Gokul. So both of them, the Radharani and the Gopis in Gokul, they are expansions of the original Radharani and Gopis in Vrindavan. Okay, and when they come to the material Bhoma Vraj, then these associates, they merged. These Gokul expansions, they merged in the Vrindavan original forms. Okay, that's why in Bhoma Vraj there is no division as such. But certain type of relationship will dominate at certain point of time. Okay, so sometimes the Swakiya Ras will dominate, and sometimes the Parikiya. Now it is observed that the Parikiya Ras actually dominated during Krishna's earlier pastimes, and then later when he got married, it is spoken about being married to all these gopis, or even to the fact that he got married to the Dwarka queens. These are the expansions of these Gokul gopis. Okay, and that is the reason the Nav Vrindavan was created, because they were not comfortable with the environment of Aishwarya Bhav. So that's why this Nav Vrindavan was actually created, in order to pacify all these gopis who had appeared as queens. Okay, so so basically, according to Ghat Samhita, the curse between Sridhama and Radharani was given to the married form of Radha and Krishna, or to Radharani who was married to Krishna. Okay, so basically it can refer to the Gokul pastimes in Goloka. And so we see that Krishna did meet, okay, but at the same time, Krishna did have a separation of 100 years, especially for the Gokul expansions of the Vraj Gopis, or the Swakiya expansions of the Vraj Gopis. They underwent a separation of 100 years. Okay, but the original Gopis, because Krishna returned to Vrindavan, so obviously they were united with Krishna, and he visited a couple of times. So obviously they were seeing Krishna face to face. So how come they were bearing the curse of 100 years? So they were not. Actually, these were the expansions of the original forms of vrajavasis, or the gopis, who had and bared the curse of 100 years. And then finally they became queens in Dwarka. Okay. Yeah, so are you able to follow and understand any question, any particular question about any particular concept?
Prabhuji, where was this Vrindavan? Where was it built?
Close to Dwarka, very close to Dwarka. So that Krishna can also visit, and at the same time it is distant from Dwarka. It is separate from there, and at the same time the Swakiya expansion of the gopis could also be comfortable, because it was a replica of Vrindavan.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay. Any other question or comment? I mean, obviously it's too late. So if devotees they have any questions, then we can take it probably next time. But anyways, I am very thankful to all the devotees for attending and giving me a chance to speak something to glorify Srimati Radharani, and to also try to that way glorify Srila Prabhupada, because only because of Prabhupada's mercy we are given all this information, and we are able to understand all these truths about Krishna's relationship with the devotees. Ras Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Krishna Tattva, all these things we are able to understand. Okay, so I thank all the devotees for joining till late, and being there till late. And yeah, so we will, if you have any questions, then we will probably answer it later. Okay, so let's end class here now by loud reciting Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.
Jai.
So if I would request devotees that please visit Vraj, please visit the dham. You will actually see all these places which we are describing, which we are narrating, and that's why it's a transcendental experience in dham. Nothing like the dham. Visit to the dham. You get a first-hand experience of not just the dham, but the beautiful holy places, the dust of dham, the vrajavasis, the mood, the transcendental atmosphere of the dham. Nothing like it. It's all transcendental. So I look forward to it, and I think probably, I'm not sure if the iCamp will be there next year, because this Corona thing is delaying a lot. Hopefully, if there is a vaccine which comes in the month of November, then I think there may be a possibility. But if it will extend, then there is no chance probably that the iCamp will happen in Barsana. But anyways, whenever we are free from this Corona thing, whenever we are able to travel, let's take the first opportunity and travel to Vrishbhanu and try to um, understand the glories of all these places in the dham. In fact, if you remember, in our Janmashtami pastime, when Uddhava is visiting Srimati Radharani and the gopis, so the pastime of the bumblebee and how Radharani gets mad, Divyon Mad ecstasy that Radharani is actually showing, that place we visited, that place is called as Uddhav Kyari. And just by going and sitting and touching and seeing that place, you will feel so much transcendental vibes. You will feel transported to the spiritual world. So this is the great potency of the dham. So let's hope one day, by the mercy of Prabhupada Guru, we'll be able to visit again, and we are intensely hankering also for that. So Srimati Radharani ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Taiko Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. And